Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward.
All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports.
Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
And welcome to the Woodward Sports coverage of the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft. I am Flannel Sam, and the man to my right is the great Booner. We've got JB on the ones and twos, doing all the TD stuff, and we've got Matt Broder in the room. I don't know how long you're going to be here, but it's always great to see you. Booner, all this draft stuff, it gets me, all the juices are still flowing, right, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock right now, and right before I was feeling a little bit sluggish and fatigued from all the draft stuff, but once I get up here, once we got the draft going, it goes amped up back to 10 again. How you feeling right now, Booner?
I'm at 11 right now.
You're at 11?
I'm at 11, and we talked about last night how we were feeling. I woke up this morning and I'm ready again to see Brad Holmes just go to work.
Yeah.
I want to see everything that he did yesterday all come together with 34, all of this. And Lucas was saying in the back, the second round is one of the most exciting ones because you're going to see a ton of trades probably again, just like the first round. You're going to see a lot of movement. And the Detroit Lions have 3 picks in this round.
Well, that's the thing. Because of the trade that they made yesterday, now almost right when it starts this second round, the third pick of the second round is going to be made by the Detroit Lions. They have the 34th, the 48th, and the 55th. So this could be really the most game-changing round of the entire draft for the Detroit Lions. And that's why I am so excited to be hosting this live stream right now. And Booner, before we get into it, I know the Steelers have not made their selection yet, but I've been on a couple shows today, so I've kind of made a lot of my feelings known. But after having slept on it for a night, how are you feeling about what Brad Holmes drafted the Detroit Lions in the first round with Jahmyr Gibbs at 12 and Jack Campbell at 18?
I mean, going through the shows, I think it seemed like I was speaking with D-Mac, and he was saying how a lot of the polls and stuff is 70-30, where fans are starting to kind of come around on it and see kind of what Brad Holmes is kind of building. And that's kind of where I'm at. Last night at the draft party, I was I had my head down. I was I don't know what's going on right now. I felt like the world was just coming down on top of us. And then all of a sudden, it's as the night goes on, I listened to the Brad Holmes press conference. I listened to Jack Campbell speak, Gibbs speak, and I started feeling a lot better. The way Brad Holmes kind of broke it down, it made me feel way better. And when I came in this morning talking to D-Mac, basically, what I told D-Mac was you're going to have that 30% of people who are going to be mad. And if they're mad at this, they're going to be mad at they're going to probably be mad at anything that Brad Holmes did yesterday. Whether it was Jalen Carter, they're going to complain about his character issues. Or whether it was a quarterback, they're going to play, we're getting a quarterback. That, I don't know, that's how I feel. It's the people who are mad about this are probably good. Well, they would have been angry either way. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm with D-Mac when he said today, we're riding with Brad Holmes. He got his guys. He came out and said, hey, I have my board. And Jahmyr Gibbs was that guy on the board at 12. And at 18, Jack Campbell, he literally said he was the top out of our board by a good amount. He was on our board number 1. I'm happy we got the Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes guys.
I'll tell you what, man, and you kind of alluded to it. I wasn't super happy last night when those draft picks were made. I'm not going to lie. I would say...
I think we all were mad.
Yeah, and I'm even still feeling a little bit skeptical to some degree. But at the same time, now that they are Detroit Lions, we have to embrace them. We have to look at the positives because there's nothing you can do now. And I'm going to say this to all Lions fans. Don't be one of those guys that just wants to be right so bad. You got to root for these guys at this point. I know that Jahmyr Gibbs was on basically nobody's radar in the first round, but he's a damn good football player.
The thing is, too, is these guys aren't these guys are going to be starters, and they're going to be putting in they're going to have an impact instantly for this Detroit Lions team. It's not like they reached at a guy too early to where it's they're reaching out a guy who's not going to make an impact. They're going to make an impact on a team that's potentially could go make a run at an NFC championship, hopefully one day a Super Bowl. These are impact players. It's not like they're just scrubs that we sat there and we took a shot at, and Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes are we're going to what did you say at your tweet today?
I basically said that I think that Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs will both be good NFL players. I also am a bit skeptical just in terms of the value and the position, and that's fair, I think. And also, One thing that did concern me, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but it seemed like the very first time that Brad Holmes kind of tried to do the whole smartest man in the room routine, where it's like, I'll show you, I'll do something that nobody was expecting. But at the same time, they're able to justify it. And whether we like Jack Campbell or not, for example, linebacker is a need. And I think that Jack Campbell starts day one and is the best linebacker on the team. Better than Anzalone, better than Malcolm Rodriguez. I think he's got that kind of ability. And Jahmyr Gibbs, he was the best pass-catching running back coming out of the draft. His ceiling is somewhat of a facsimile of Alvin Kamara. And if this year he maybe gets at least 1,000 all-purpose yards, I'd be okay with that. If he becomes a guy that can maybe get 800 to 1,100 rushing yards and 600 to 700 receiving yards, that would be a huge win. I hope that they all do well. Being skeptical is not the same thing as not trusting Brad Holmes. But I see what they were doing. Yeah,
that's it. And I saw someone in the chat here say Gibbs tape is electric. Like,
oh, absolutely.
If you went back as soon as the draft was done and you went and watched Jahmyr Gibbs tape, like, he's going to, I can't say it enough. Like, he's going to impact this Detroit Lions team no matter what. Whether even if DeAndre Swift doesn't get moved this weekend and he's playing there next year, he's going to have a massive impact. And then to your Jack Campbell point, he's going to be a massive part of what we're building in the next 4 to 5 years. Like, this isn't just a, hey, next year thing. Like, he's better than Rodriguez. He's going to be better than Anzalone. And you hope that he's kind of your future, like, centerpiece of this defense. And even his press conferences today, he's so just like he's like, I'm ready just to come to Detroit and work. And like, that pumps me up. And that's when you know it's like, that's a Brad Holmes guy.
That being said, though, the pressure is on them to produce, because when you do something unconventional in the draft, there's obviously a good chance that it works out, or at least to some degree. But if it doesn't, that might be, I would say a black. Well, actually, yes. If it doesn't work out, it would be a black mark on Brad Holmes' legacy, because obviously the first round he shined the first couple of years, but those picks of Aiden Hutchinson and Penei Sewell, I wouldn't say fell into his lap. You still have to pick them, but it wasn't really that complicated. This one, trading back when they had a chance to get Jalen Carter, getting Jahmyr Gibbs, it was definitely unconventional. I think it's going to be fine, but I'm still a little bit nervous. JB, I know you didn't sleep much, but you did sleep on it a little bit. How are you feeling about the first round draft picks a day later?
You are completely 100% right. I did not sleep a whole lot last night. I know we were having a little bit too much fun at Fifth Ave, but it was a good night. It was a good experience. After sleeping on it, giving it some thought, we got to kind of take everything with a grain of salt. We got to give these guys at least some time to get out there on the field and to see what they have, what they can do out there. You can't just fly off the hinges like I know most of us did, because the draft didn't go the way we expected it to. But we have to give Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell some time with these guys. Not saying they're going to be, Super Bowl champions in the near future, but give these guys time, and honestly, they can build on something and be great.
And Brad Holmes has certainly earned a lot of leeway in our respect with his previous two drafts. I know, Broder, you were pretty high on the draft picks, like higher than most even at the time. What's your thought process?
Yeah, looking back on it, I think there are definitely two players that the Lions front office, that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and team really wanted just from the start. And, you wake up and look back, not looking at the actual picks, the numbers where they were picked, that's definitely a win on day one. I also think they're planning for the Bears to be their primary competition for the future. I think Jack Campbell definitely addresses Justin Fields' athleticism and everything he can do with his leg. That's one more defensive piece to shut him down. And then they added 2 linebackers for $100 million. Now they got to worry about Jahmyr Gibbs coming out of the backfield. I love it.
You know what, man? That's a very interesting take, and I actually saw that tweet, how, the Bears, they did add a couple of, one of them was a very expensive linebacker in Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah, TJ Edwards, it was more on the cheap, but those were 2 linebackers that the Bears got in free agency, 2 of their prized pickups. Yep. And Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy that obviously can hurt you in a lot of ways, is great catching the ball in the backfield, has elite explosiveness and speed. I think it's going to... I'm talking myself into liking this more and more, and Broder, I definitely always appreciate your positivity. That being said, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, and before we get to them making their pick, Booner, at 34, what would be your ideal selection for the Detroit Lions?
It's tough because, I mean, I think a lot of us, number one is Joey Porter Jr. Like, we expect, like, I saw a ton of mock drafts where he was actually going 18 to the Lions. Or, like, he was even, the Steelers were taking him, where they're at 17, I believe, that they were taking him at 17.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting now that you're sitting here at 34, Pittsburgh's at 32, and that seems like their guy. And that's like, to me, that's who I want in Detroit. Is I want Joey Porter Jr. We have that cornerback and that secondary to where it's like you have one guy on a 3-year deal, and the rest are kind of all 1-year deals. So you want to booster up that, right?
Yeah.
But I think Joey Porter's the dream. Like, we all were mocking him at 18, and he's sitting here at 32 available, and you're at 34, and you got that trade. Like, that's the dream to me, is Joey Porter Jr. I really don't think, though, right here, there's 4 minutes left on the clock, I don't think he falls to 34. That would be my dream. After that, I mean, Osiris Torrance,
Yeah.
I like him. I do like, and this is going to be a surprise, I hope it's like a lot of people, Lions fans, hate it, but that tight end position, Michael Mayer, he was projected here at like a top 20 prospect. He's sitting at 34. I wouldn't hate if in this second round we get a guy like Michael Mayer who falls down to us.
I'll tell you what, and I don't want all the Lions fans to come at my throat for this, but
Oh,
I
no,
like
fine.
Michael Mayer a lot. I'm not saying that I want him at 34, but he to me has the ability to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL in the next 4 to 5 years. I think he's that good. He was highly productive at Notre Dame. He was compared when he first came into Notre Dame to Gronk. I don't think he's Gronk, obviously, but I like Michael Mayer a lot.
Do you know, I told you before, his pro comp, which Lions fans probably would hate it, is TJ Hawkinson, that I saw on NFL.com today,
yeah.
or ESPN. And I mean, the difference between that, like his pro comp is TJ Hawkinson. We had to take TJ Hawkinson in the top 10.
Sure.
If we can get a Michael Mayer in the 30s in second round, like, to me, that's kind of a steal. Like, he's in the second round. Even if he does somehow fall to 48, I feel like you can't pass up on that.
And that's fair. And you mentioned how one of your first choices at 34 would be Joey Porter Jr.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, I want Joey Porter Jr. so bad. I wanted him at 18. I think he has the chance to be the best cornerback in this entire draft. I'm huge of him. You want some numbers on Joey Porter Jr. Last season, he only allowed 15 receptions for 143 yards, which is a little bit more than 10 yards allowed per game. Only gave up one play of 15-plus yards. When it comes to corners, he's got one of the best. When it comes to size, he's got it. 6'2", length, physicality, speed. I like his ability to sort of knock receivers off their spot. And what we talked about with C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Emmanuel Mosley being on 1-year deals. The Lions fixed the secondary. Is the pick in?
The pick
is in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this could change a lot.
Should we wait until they announce it on ESPN? I do have an alert here.
Oh, boy. Do you actually know what it is?
I do know the pick. here. I don't know if the chat already knows it. Oh, yeah, there's some people in the chat that have already put it here.
All right, just.
So I do want to ask you this though, Flannel, too, if it is okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know if it'll.
Wait till they announce it on ESPN. Let's get the real reaction.
I do have a question for Flannel after this pick.
Oh boy. I have a feeling that I'm not gonna like this. Lucas was making a face. I don't like
Lucas
it.
is in the match chair screaming at us without sound.
All I know, but that's the thing. This could make all the difference. The Steelers could take someone that the Lions want. And I'm afraid that's going to happen, but we'll see. I always thought, and we kind of mentioned it too, that Joey Porter Jr. seemed like a match made in heaven for the Steelers. They just lost Cam Sutton. He just seems to fit that.
His dad played there.
His dad played there.
Penn State guy, it seems like a match. And I mean, the fact that some of these guys, like, there's 4 or 5 guys that I feel like were projected to go in the first round, and all of that's where I think the Lions kind of getting that trade done and being at 34 ended up working out in our favor with Brad Holmes, because so many guys fell in this draft to where you're still able to get, like, it could be like 3 first-round picks.
It could be.
That's what it feels like right now.
Well, that's what I kind of was hoping would happen. Maybe a guy like Brian Branch falls, or God forbid, Michael Mayer, somebody like that. Joey Porter Jr. was definitely the number one. Oh boy, are they announcing the pick right now? Oh my God, it's Joey Porter Jr. And now my dreams are done.
All of us. That was, I think,
all
everyone here at
done.
Woodward all day was just Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr. The only way I thought that he falls to us, if you saw a trade today coming with the Steelers and someone trades up for Will Levis, that was the only chance I personally thought like Joey Porter would be able to be available. Now, question real quick.
Oh, boy. What?
Brian Branch.
Yes.
Obviously, he's a safety, but you can move him around in a lot of different spots. Are you in on him if he doesn't go this next pick and it does fall to the Lions? I know we have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's a 1-year deal. But Kirby Joseph, Tracy Walker, Deshaun Elliott did just leave.
Yeah.
So where would you be at with that?
I don't know if it would be necessarily my first choice after that, but I do love Brian Branch's versatility. I love the fact that he can play slot corner and safety. I don't really see him projecting as a man-to-man outside corner. He doesn't have the speed for that, but I got some numbers on Brian Branch that were very, very impressive. Last season at Alabama, he had 14 tackles for loss, which is insane for a slot corner and safety, which means he is great in terms of like the run game. And in terms of blowing up those bubble screens and everything, and Spencer Raxter is trying to distract me, but it's not working, Spenny. He's got 3 sacks, 3 interceptions. He's a smart player, great technique, 7 passes defended. I'm not saying that I want Brian Branch. He's my first choice, but I could talk myself into it. But yeah, my first choice was Joey Porter Jr., and that's not going to happen.
My second backup was the Brian Branch. I looked at a lot of mocks today, and people are going to hate it. You know what I'm going to say is a lot of the mocks. I saw a mock here. Who was it? I think it was maybe the 33rd team that had the Detroit Lions taking Will Levis.
You shut
here.
your whore mouth.
I'm just saying. I saw that. I saw another one that had at 55 Will Levis falling all the way there to get picked by the Lions. So I'm just throwing it out there.
All your dreams come true, right, Booner?
I've been the only Will Levis fan I think in the state of Michigan that said, hey, and the top 10 is a little iffy to me. Like if you trade back, you take Will Levis, but if you're sitting in round 2, I mean the chat could come at me. I don't know. I'm not looking at it right now, but you can. But if you get a guy like that on $7 or $8 million for the next 5 years as a backup, I mean, what are we talking about here? He was a top 10 prospect.
I'll tell you what, though,
at $8 million.
I am so glad that he fell and he had to sit in the draft room and not get picked for that whole first round. That's what you get for basically, I wouldn't say sucking your senior year. I get it. He lost some players. He did.
His OC players, offensive line, running back was suspended for half of the year. I mean, any quarterback is going to go through something, right?
But he also put up 16 for 27 for 98 yards, 3 interceptions, a grand total of 6 points versus Tennessee. And you know who put 63 on Tennessee? The South Carolina Gamecocks, led by Spencer Rattler. That's all I'm saying. And Will Levis gave you 11 of 23, 109 yards against Vanderbilt, giving Vanderbilt their first SEC win since 2019. Get out of here with that Will Levis talk. I don't care if it's 6th round. I don't care if it's 7th round. I don't care if it's undrafted free agent. I don't want Will Levis. Never.
Hey,
no way, no how.
This is good. What's going on here? We've got both sides of it. So if it does happen, we're able to get both reactions. I thought for a second you said Spencer Rattler. I thought you said Spencer Raxter. I was like, well, he's playing quarterback now. No. I don't know what was going on.
No, like D-Mac, I think misspoke Spencer's name as Spencer Rattler a few times. It was pretty funny. The Arizona Cardinals. It looks like they're about a minute away. They're taking a while to make this pick.
I do have something here, and I will say this here: there is a trade. If I could throw it out there. All right, so the Tennessee Titans. It looks like on Twitter, I'm looking at it, that they've traded up. They're trading up, which my guess would be if the Tennessee Titans are trading up, they're going after Will Levis.
It has to be Will Levis.
Why
the hell
didn't
wouldn't
draft
it
a
be Will
quarterback
Levis
yet, and they need one.
And you know I'm not a Will Levis guy. I wouldn't do it in a million years. Wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole to the Lions. But Tennessee is. I won't want to say where it makes sense, but they have Ryan Tannehill, and Malik Willis sure doesn't look like he's much of anything. It looks like the pick is in.
The pick is in quick. Like they were ready. They knew what they wanted to do. They got the trade in, and I think I'm guessing we all know what's going to happen here.
And that's the thing. If you're the Tennessee Titans, you're probably looking at a guy that you thought you'd have to spend your first-round pick on. And the fact that he fell all the way, I'm guessing that they had resigned themselves to the fact that they weren't going to get Will Levis, but then the fact that he wasn't even picked in the first round, they're probably looking at it as a gift. I don't think Will Levis is anything, but I think he's better than Malik Willis. I think at this point, Ryan Tannehill, especially with what he's getting paid, is basically a scrub at this point.
I do. I think it's kind of a perfect landing spot for him. Like this was a team too that, like you said, they're getting him in the second round right now. Days before the draft, that there was all these rumors that they were trading up to 2 or to 3 with the Cardinals to get a guy like Will Levis or C.J. Stroud. So like they were expecting to probably have to give up probably this pick or a third-round pick to go get Will Levis, and now they're able to take their normal picks and come here and get. I mean, I think it's a perfect spot for him. Ryan Tannehill's probably on his way out. What's his Maz's guy from last year, Malik Willis. I mean, he's done. I think I would say just a bust at this point. A year in, I mean, we have no comment on that.
No, I mean, Malik Willis, obviously, it's a very, very small sample size. But you even ask Ryan Ermanni or Tom Mazaway, guys who advocated for him, they're like, he's done, he's cooked, he's a bust. And I guess it's not official yet that it's Will Levis. The pick still hasn't technically been made. I don't see Roger Goodell or the representative up there yet. There he is. He is striding to the podium right now, and I'm guessing there's not a chance in hell it's anybody else. Why would Tennessee trade up? They're about to make the selection. Don't have the sound on. He's announcing the trade. But yeah,
Yep.
Once I heard that it was Tennessee, I think we both were just like, it's Will Levis, no, without a shadow of a doubt.
So who's your guy right now?
Officially Will Levis.
Okay. Who's your guy here now? The Lions are on the clock. Dream pick right now, number 34, Brian Branch.
God, it's so hard because I don't know if there's a dream pick. There's nothing that really gets me super excited at 34. I mean, I like Osiris Torrance or Steve Avila, guards out of Florida and TCU respectively. I think they have to address the interior defensive line in this round. Keanu Benton's a guy that I like. We talked about him in the back, just like a big run-stopping defensive tackle, but also has 10 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks his senior year, which shows me that he's also a playmaker as well. Jalen Hyatt at some point. Imagine putting Jalen Hyatt on this offense with Jahmyr Gibbs, with Jamison Williams coming back. They might be able to create a bit of a track team. I think that would be a very, very attractive
And Jalen Hyatt's a guy I've been kind of pushing for in the second round. I don't think he's going to fault any of our other picks, but I mean, the last year we did the college football show last year, and he was a guy that at some points he was like top 10 in the Heisman race, to where it's like he was putting up numbers. To add him to this offense, I am personally though, Flannel, I'm kind of in on getting a defensive player right now.
Okay.
To kind of add to that defense. Brian Branch, to add more to it. Some type of defensive lineman potentially would be my that's where I want to kind of see. I want to see them just keep building this defense, especially after going Gibbs at 12 and they didn't go defensive line. I want to see them kind of build that up a little bit.
Sure. And you mentioned Brian Branch. That's another one that I would be okay with, but I already kind of broke him down earlier. I'm gonna go around the room. JB, now that the Lions are on the clock and Joey Porter Jr. is gone, Will Levis is gone, someone I knew you were intrigued by. I'm obviously being sarcastic. What is your ideal pick at 34 for the Lions right now?
At 34 now, seeing that Porter's gone, Will Levis, no one really cares about that guy, let's be honest. I think it's too early for Hendon Hooker, especially to go on a QB run here. So give me Brian Branch out of Alabama. That's the best spot that I can see them going here, unless they want to go the cornerback from South Carolina.
Oh, Cam Smith.
Yeah, Cam Smith.
I like Cam Smith too. That would be.
It's between those two for me. Other than that, yeah, that's sad to see Porter gone, man. I really wanted Porter.
I did. You and me both, man. What about you, Broder? 34. Who's your ideal pick?
The pick is in.
Oh boy,
we're in.
Pick is in.
We have a pick here, fellas.
In these next three, I want some combination of an offensive lineman, a defensive tackle, and a cornerback. So Osiris Torrance, Cody Mock, Cam Smith, Keely Ringo. I'll even throw a receiver in there. I'll let you guys take it from here because this pick's about to come in, but let's go.
I know you're a fan of Cody Mock, and oh my God, the pick is in
All
at
right,
34. I don't even know if I'm ready for this. Who is it going to be?
Brian Branch. Please give me
Let's
Brian
see.
Branch.
What?
Wow.
What? Sam Laporta? What? Bro.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, I did mention a tight end. I did say Michael Mayer. That would have been initial reaction. That would have been my pick, Flannel.
Wow. Michael Mayer, I could maybe stomach at 34, but Sam Laporta, and I understand. Sam Laporta got hurt by playing with Spencer Petras as his quarterback in that pathetic Iowa offense, but Oh my God! You know what I just thought of, man?
Iowa, man.
Neil Rule is gonna lose his mind because like Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta.
Did Neil Rule put this into existence with his Iowa shirt today?
Oh my God!
Please tell me, Neil. Come on.
I
Man.
cannot wait to troll him on BED on Monday because at some point he has to take accountability for his actions.
I mean, to me, I just feel like, I mean, Musgraves is on the board. I mean, I guess Sam Laporta. He's probably the third or the fourth best tight end in this draft, at least that I thought. Michael Mayer is still on the board, though. I feel like I don't know. They got 2 Iowa guys here. You know what it might be? Flannel is just like, I mean, maybe you keep saying it, but Brad Holmes, they're just picking Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell guys.
And if that's the case, I don't like that logic. I'll be honest. And I'm not saying that Sam Laporta is gonna be bad. I don't like this pick one bit. I wasn't super happy with Jack Campbell or Jahmyr Gibbs when first hearing of it. It's been easier to stomach now with some time to sleep on it. But this Sam Laporta pick, it's a little bit raw. It's raw. The emotions are raw right now. And to me, this whole Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy, it's become a little bit of a trope to me. It honestly has become a little bit nauseating if that's what you're basing your picks on as opposed to talent. There's no reason why Sam Laporta should be the 34th, the third pick that the Lions are making at 34, which they got by trading. I expected with the first round and with the second round to leave here feeling really, really good about the Lions' future this season. I mean, I still do.
We talked about it. It's like you get pick number 34, correct, in this trade, and you're looking to get a first round type of guy, and you see like I'll keep saying that Michael Mayer falls and drops to you. He's a first round. He was a top 15, top 20 prospect. He falls. The only thing I can wrap my head around this is that they're dead serious when they say, hey, we're only bringing guys. And me and D-Mac, we said it in the back here. He probably talked about it on the show here, is do not waver on Brad Holmes because he's already built what he has. And obviously guys have fallen to him the last couple of years, and that's been kind of the core. But with guys like this, maybe now we know he is dead set on we're only taking guys we love, and we're only taking guys that we think we can go win a Super Bowl with. That's the only thing I could take out of this is like, this is a guy that's going to really make an impact. We might not need the best player, but we need a guy that's going to come in and compete, and he's going to want to work every single day. That's the only thing I could take out of this. I'm excited to hear the press conferences tonight. I mean, we have 3 picks tonight, and after the first pick, I'm like, I want to see the press conference now.
I want to see the press conference now.
Go live right now in Allen Park, please.
The justification, and I think everything that you said about the Dan Campbell guy, the Brad Holmes guy, guys that they think can contribute this year, I think factoring in character, all that, and maybe needs because tight end, despite what Brock Wright and Shane Zylstra and James Mitchell, they filled in admirably, but they're all just guys.
Yep.
I think maybe James Mitchell could develop into something, but obviously they don't think so anymore because they decided to draft Sam Laporta. But when you do stuff like this, Brad Holmes, and I mentioned this in the first round, but it carries over into the second round because they shocked me even more. If you do stuff like this, if you take a tight end at 34, especially when it's Sam Laporta, when I think Michael Mayer and Darnell Washington and Musgrave are all better prospects than him, this better work. That's my thing. This better work. I don't want to hear any excuses because at this point, I have a lot of questions. In previous drafts, I've been more sure. They've been more of the conventional picks that we think are going to be made. But this year, he's off the wall. He's all over the place. 2 Iowa players, a tight end and a running back in the first 3 picks, even though their defense, when you look at their season on a macro level, was their weakness.
Hey, Flannel, in my head right now, I got over it. It's like that sucked. It was terrible, but now I'm with D-Mac. I'm not wavering. I'm sticking with it. If this is a Dan Campbell and this is a Brad Holmes guy, you're going to hear him say it tonight. We're rolling with it. Personally, I know a lot of people in the chat probably mad. People, group chats all mad. Hey, we got to roll with it, right? Like, he's our guy now. And I don't know. It sucks because, like you said, Darnell Washington, Michael Mayer, Musgrave, they're all on the board still if you're going to go tight end. But I mean, this is a guy that he wants to build part of his team, and he wants the culture. You're bringing guys in that have that culture, and obviously you see he brought in Jack Campbell, who was part of the Iowa team there. So he obviously felt like that those two were a part of a good culture, and they can come in and make that impact right away. I am a little questioning too because one of our biggest, one of the worst things last year is we were like the 30th, 31st worst defense in the NFL, and 2 of our first 3 picks have been offense. That, and I know we built up in free agency the secondary, but to me, you haven't touched the defensive line once. And that was stopping the run has been a massive thing that we need to do. And we haven't even touched the defensive line yet. That's where, if you look at the other side of the ball, I said right before the pick, I would love defense here, and we went tight end.
I went tight end, and there wasn't a lot that could have been done that would have shocked me.
Yeah.
This one has me metaphorically on the floor. I'm surprised I'm still able to do this show and speak because it was that insane. And for the record, it's hard to judge drafts right away because you need to see them on the field. I'm not gonna be that guy, and we've talked about it before, that's just gonna kill every single pick and say there's no way this is gonna work. We have to see it first. It's just when you do stuff like this, when you make these off the wall kind of picks, you open yourself up for criticism.
Yep.
Brad Holmes is obvious. Oh, the pick is there another pick in right now? Ooh. Or the Los Angeles Rams, it looks like they are on the clock.
I'm interested to hear what the reasoning was behind Laporta with the other tight ends still available, because I think the attributes available with the other tight ends. Michael Mayer is the most complete tight end. Yep. Washington was the best blocking tight end, and Musgrave is the best receiving tight end. So what was it about Laporta?
I think, like I said already, I think it comes down to the culture that he's looking for, and kind of like, hey, I want you to come in the building and work every single day. Like the One Pride, the Dan Campbell, the Brad Holmes type of culture. And we just saw here right after, literally the pick after Michael Mayer goes to to Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep.
So we see that just happen. So literally, as soon as we take Laporta, I bet you the Raiders right after were like, there's no way that just happened.
No way that just happened. And at that point, and I know I'm not saying that they weren't planning on taking Michael Mayer before at 35, but when you see another team take Sam Laporta first, it maybe shocks you into being like, oh my God, I better get my guy Michael Mayer right away. I mean, if you remember yesterday.
The Raiders ran to the podium,
yes,
I bet.
I mean, yesterday, I believe once Jackson Smith and Jigba got picked, there were 4 consecutive receivers counting Jackson Smith and Jigba, like right in a row. There is something to being that domino effect, and it looks like the Rams pick is in at 36, and at 35, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Michael Mayer. I'm kind of curious to see what the Rams do, because we're at that point again. The Lions don't pick till 48. So every single selection that that other teams make at this point will directly impact who the Lions are going to take. And at this point, are you at the point where you're just almost done predicting? Like, what good is that at this point?
I mean, we've been doing mock drafts, the morning show. Every show has been doing mock drafts for months. And I would love to just go back and see everyone's mock drafts, because the first round, the second round here, like, nothing has fallen. I mean, I would love to see someone with close to a perfect mock. It's like the NCAA tournament bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that thing is busted after probably pick 3. This is insane, because, I mean, we sat here all day talking about defense. And, I mean, I know I brought up tight end right before this, just saying like a Michael Mayer potentially could be that pick. And we're not looking at a defensive line. Like, I would have rather had number one defense, 2 maybe a tight end, or 2 an offensive lineman, and then 3 a tight end. That was kind of my rankings of it if you're going to go. And you got the bottom of my rankings with the tight end.
You got the bottom of the rankings. And
brutal.
When it comes to tight ends who maybe have a second or third round grade, probably the worst of the bunch, I would say so, or at least the
I mean, the lowest ranked one probably is going to go in the second round.
The lowest ranked one. And now that I know that the Lions picked a tight end, is it bad that I'm really clamoring for Michael Mayer now? I think he might be the one that got away. Obviously, not knowing that the Lions would pick a tight end, I wasn't thinking Michael Mayer would be my first choice, but the fact that I'm going to have to see Michael Mayer with the Raiders and Sam Laporta with the Lions, unless Sam Laporta proves me wrong,
Flannel, you should be looking the other way. You should be like, I want Sam Laporta to be 100 times better than Michael Mayer. Let's go, man.
I know.
Wake up, Flannel.
I know.
Come on.
I know. It's. If we did this show tomorrow, I might be a little
You're doing a show with D-Mac, right? And he went on the rant today talking about do not waver with Brad Holmes.
I'll tell you what, though.
No wavering.
It better work this year. This better work.
Hey, he hasn't, and this is the thing. D-Mac's completely right. He hasn't shown us that it hasn't worked. I know guys have fallen, and you could say that for the first round, but let's look at like the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round. He has went out and improved.
I know.
So like he is looking at talent here, and he's looking at the culture, and he's picking his guy. This is the first time that he's picking his guys outside of just a guy that falls to him in the first round.
Yes.
And outside of the first round, he's shown he can do it.
And I'm sure you just saw this. The Los Angeles Rams at pick 36 pick TCU guard Steve Avila, which is a guy that I wanted for the Lions. So there goes. Check that one off the list. And that's disappointing to me.
Yeah. That's what I was, I was just saying is the offensive line. I mean, that's also something that, we can, looking ahead with contracts and different things, and at the guard position, there's questions, there's different things that you have to look at. And I think in the second round, that was something you probably could have added, probably not just for next year, but the next 2 to 3 years if you're kind of developing and building a franchise that's looking to compete for the next couple years. You
know what? I think Broder in the chat, a.k.a. Matt Broder in the sound booth right now, pretty much summed it up perfectly. Damn, what do we do now at 48? Is it even worth projecting anymore, or should we just let the chips fall where they may?
Was that a question to me?
That was a question to you, brother.
Let the chips fall where they may.
You're a positive guy. I need your positivity.
There's nobody that can predict what Brad Holmes is going to do next.
I thought, though, the funny thing, though, is, man, I'm not saying that either trait is good or bad. I kind of thought that Brad Holmes, at least for the first couple drafts, there was an element of if the best player falls to us, we're going to take him no matter what. And that's what I thought that they might do with Jalen Carter, although people kept telling you over and over and over again that they're not interested, he's off the board. But still, even when they traded back and out of the Jalen Carter pick, I was a little bit disappointed. So that's the thing. I've never thought of Brad Holmes as this sort of renegade, smartest man in the room type. And I'm not. And that's the thing. He has earned a lot through those first two drafts, especially in the later rounds that haven't even happened yet. I mean, getting gems like Kirby Joseph in the third, Amon-Ra St. Brown in the fourth, James Houston and Malcolm Rodriguez in the sixth. That is all still in play. He could still get good players. Hell, Sam Laporta could be a good player. It's just not at all what I was expecting. And Booner, let me ask you this, because I think there's an angle to this too. I think when we're all making these mock drafts, we want to feel like we were right, like we know almost as much as he does, even though we obviously don't. Nobody had Sam Laporta going 34. Nobody had Jack Campbell going 18. Nobody had Jahmyr Gibbs going 12. Is that of any factor in it? Just the shock and like the feeling of like, what were we even doing? Yeah,
I mean, it's like we're just not used to it, especially Lions fans in this kind of regime with Brad Holmes. Like we keep saying is that the last 2 years, especially in the first round, Penei Sewell falls to you. Aiden Hutchinson falls to you. You trade up, you go, it's a luxury pick. You trade up and go get Jamison Williams. In this draft, there was no maybe a Jalen Carter would have fell to you at 6, but he trades back. And this is the first time where Brad Holmes, you could say he's an elite scout. He knows what he's doing when he's scouting players. He knows what he's doing when he's bringing in guys. And he's, like you said, he's shown it in later rounds, and he's kind of using this is how I look at it personally, and this could be a positive out of it all, but he's using his talents to an advantage of going out and scouting and seeing the guys that are best fit for your team, and he's using that in his advantage in the first, second round now. Instead of just waiting for a guy to fall to him, he traded back. He thinks, Gibbs, that's his guy. He thought he went into it. He said he went to the Texas-Alabama game, a game that Bijan is at, and he liked Gibbs more. And he liked Gibbs, and he got him. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing to me with this pick. Is I'm sure there was something with Laporta that he saw in him, to where he's like, hey, that's my guy. That's our guy. And it's hard for me to not question the pick right now. And in the back of my head, I just have D-Mac screaming in it. Don't waver, stoked, not scared.
Fair.
That's all I hear right now in the back of my head.
Fair enough. And by the way, the Seattle Seahawks at pick 37 selected Auburn defensive end Derek Hall, which is... I mean, it's interesting. I think the Seahawks right now have a very, very intriguing future when it comes to who they took, taking Devon Witherspoon at 5 and potentially pairing him with Tariq Woolen, who was one of the steals of the draft last year. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba, giving them the combination of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. But they were... One of their weaknesses, I would say, was on the defensive line, and they got a Derek Hall. I think it's interesting. I don't hate it at all, but he's also not somebody that I think the Lions were really clamoring for.
It does scare me, though, a little bit. The Seahawks, I mean, in this draft, they've just boosted up their defense with Devon Witherspoon. That secondary was already scary, and that's an NFC team that is competing with the playoffs with the Lions.
Absolutely.
So they've just stacked up that defense, added a receiver. So, I mean, it's a little scary. I do want to ask you, Flannel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the chat's kind of already put in there, kind of going into the next pick here at 48. I do want to see who, like, to me, I think you have to go defense in this pick because you've gone the 2 or 3 offense. What do you look at? What are you looking at 48? I know we have to kind of wait for guys to fall to see what happens, but who do you want at 48?
Well, before I answer, I'm going to give you the Atlanta Falcons pick when it gets announced. Look, it's being announced right now by former Pro Bowler John Abraham. That'll determine who I want. Let's just see if anybody that I want. Oh, who do they pick? Matthew Bergeron, offensive tackle for Syracuse,
yeah.
Which, I mean, cool. I'm not. He wasn't really somebody that I saw the Lions targeting. I hope he works out for them. The Falcons already have a good offensive line, and Matthew Bergeron is a piece that could help them. So that being said, I think at this point, there are 2 players that I have in mind. If Brian Branch falls, I think he's so talented that getting him at 48 could be highway robbery. It could be, but you also have to ask yourself why he's falling. But I would tend to go more to Brian Branch falling to 48 would be highway robbery if the Lions took him. But there's one more. Keanu Benton. I know we talked about him in the back. The Lions need an interior defensive lineman. Unfortunately, the luck didn't really fall their way. They passed on Jalen Carter, which I disagreed with for the record, and they passed on Kalijah Cansey, and then Mozzie Smith and Brian Brzee were not available at 34. At some point, you just have to take who's left, and I think that Keanu Benton is a guy that could fall to 48. I think that is absolutely realistic, and to what you said, Booner, you can't at 48 make it 3 offensive players out of 4. There's no chance, right?
I even think with these last 2 picks, you have to go defense. Like, I was really hoping for like a wide receiver later. Like that's why I really wanted a Brian Branch in that position, because I wanted them to hopefully like a Jalen Hyatt somehow drops and is there at 48. Highly unlikely, probably. He probably goes soon. But if he falls, you're sitting there with Brian Branch, Jalen Hyatt so far in the second round. That was kind of my ideal draft. But I'm with you kind of on those guys. I don't know if Brian Branch will fall that far.
You don't think.
You would have to, if he did, you would have to think, like, what's going on.
You would have to think. And to me, too, you mentioned Jalen Hyatt. I'm glad you brought him up. To me, Jalen Hyatt is a better prospect than Zay Flowers ever was. And Zay Flowers ended up being a first-round pick. I think anybody who gets Jalen Hyatt in the second round could potentially be getting a steal. And the Lions, and I think I mentioned this before, if you pair Jalen Hyatt with Jamison Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, you might have yourself a track team. You might have a team with the type of speed in the Ben Johnson offense that could be unstoppable. So I know we're talking about defense, but Jalen Hyatt would be another one to look at, given the fact that the Lions made some moves in defense with free agency. And of course, you got guys like Josh Pascal and Levi Onwuzurike potentially coming back. Another year of Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez. And then we talk about Jack Campbell, another one who they just got, who I'm not as excited about. But you know what? It was a need at linebacker. This team, despite me being slightly disappointed with who they've drafted so far, I'd say almost slightly to very disappointed, I still think they should win the NFC North. I still think they're going to have the best roster. And I think all those players, despite my trepidation, I would say, they're going to help them. They're going to help them right away.
That's the biggest thing with these picks too, and I talked about it before, like when we started here, is all of these guys are going to impact the Lions making a playoff run. Every single one. Laporta's going to now, and that tight end, he's going to be the best tight end we have. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. That is making that go down a little bit easier, because you got Jack Campbell, who's going to be their best linebacker, Sam Laporta, who's going to be their best tight end. I think it says a lot about what their linebacker and tight end room was before, but if Sam Laporta and Jack Campbell become, the best tight end on the team and linebacker on the team respectively, then that pick can be justified. And if they win games, and if those players help them win games, they're good picks. We're never going to know until they see the field. In the tight end room, you can make the argument like they had those 3 guys who were productive and made plays.
Of course they were.
But, you add in kind of a guy in the second round pick who is most likely better than those 3 guys, right? Like instantly. That already changes your offense. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. With Laporta here, and I'm just hoping here these next couple of picks we're sitting here with defense. That's all.
What about Jalen Hyatt? I know you'd be okay with him too.
You guys know how big I am on Jalen Hyatt. I wrote articles about him in the Heisman earlier this year. Like, I love Jalen Hyatt, but the way this is just all gone, this whole draft is I want defense. Just give me a defensive lineman, please. Someone
who pushes
Interior.
them that way, as Neil Rowe would say. And Keanu Benton, I know we mentioned him before. He's a guy that I would like. What if Osiris Torrance is there? It sounds like you wouldn't be as big on that because he's an offensive guard, but I think he might be the best one in the draft.
I do agree. I'm surprised he's fallen this much too, but. The offense, like I said, after this year, you're going to have to look at
Sure.
There's some guys on one-year deals that you're going to have to replace. So that is kind of a long-term move to me if they do pick him. I know a lot of people here at Woodward were big in Osiris, so I wouldn't hate it, but I'm just stuck on, like, please give me someone on defense. Give me a defensive lineman. Just get something. Let's booster this defense up. This offense is set. We're set.
Is it bad? And I know we're not going to know this until everybody gets on the field. Is it bad that I kind of want to pick, preferably on the defensive side of the ball, that I'm just instantly excited about and I'm not kind of scratching my head at first? Is that too much to ask?
No, that is exactly. What's his name that you mentioned and me and you talked for 10 minutes in the back about? I'm drawing a blank here. The interior, we literally just talked about him.
Keanu Benton.
That would be the perfect, if he fell to 48, we didn't get Jalen Carter and we can bring him in. I'm locked on that, Flannel. You've got me locked on that. I'm just going to keep hoping. I'm going to check the alerts that he just keeps falling. That's all.
All right. And the Carolina Panthers at pick 39. I know someone in the chat was mentioning him. They picked up Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Ole Miss. And I'll tell you what, I don't hate the pick for the Panthers. They just drafted Bryce Young. They signed DJ Chark in free agency. They got Miles Sanders. But their wide receiver room, I think they have Adam Thielen as well. Their wide receiver room is still, I would say, one of their weak points. And bringing in Jonathan Mingo, a guy who's, I would say, a big body receiver for Ole Miss, I don't hate it. I think they need to help Bryce Young as much as they can because he's coming into a situation which it's not a terrible situation by any means, but he needs more weapons.
No, yeah. I mean, Jonathan Mingo, literally in the back here when we were talking about Jalen Hyatt, Broder on the sound and Lucas, they told me about, like, really looking to his film. And I sat there, probably watched 10 minutes of some of his film. He's legit. Like, he just went above the guy that I love, Jalen Hyatt. Mm-hmm. So and Jalen Hyatt just keeps falling. That's
telling you something. Hey, Broder, do you think that Jonathan Mingo will be a big help to Bryce Young right away?
I love that pick for them. I think I really liked him as a possible pick for us at 48-55. But I think it's a great weapon for Bryce Young. And I got to shout out Saddle K 2009 in the chat, a $10 super chat. He said,
wow.
Let's go.
This is pretty funny, and thank you, Saddle K, for the support. He says, in the future, he or she, in the future, if a player is going to be projected below the first round, they need to take acting classes to wow the Lions in the interview to be drafted higher. Funny comment. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. That's awesome.
Oh, man, that's pretty humbling, honestly. if I think that's the right word for it. The New Orleans Saints are now on the clock, picking at 40. I don't know, Jonathan Mingo. To me, he wasn't somebody that was really on the radar for the Lions. Broder, I like him as a player, but it's not necessarily breaking my heart that he's gone. I think he's a much better fit for Carolina. I'm interested to see. I really, really hope that at 48 we're not talking about just guys that I wouldn't say off the scrap heap because that is very, very unfair for second-round draft picks. But I'm looking at Brian Branch. I'm looking at Keanu Benton. I'm looking at Osiris Torrance. I'm looking at Jalen Hyatt. One of those four, and I could absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, stomach it and just kind of give, at the very least, give a golf clap. But anything other than that, then you got to start digging a little bit. So I'm hoping one of them is available. And Booner, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. You know who else is available? Old Hendon Hooker. I'm kind of curious to see who ends up picking him.
Now, Hendon Hooker was a top 30 visit for the Detroit Lions. I know, Broder, you do a lot in Allen Park. I'm pretty sure he was a top 30 visit for the Detroit Lions. So if he does get to a 48, and if I'm not mistaken either, Teddy Bridgewater hasn't signed that backup contract yet that they offered him. So he came in on a visit. It's just one of those things like we keep talking about is you don't know what Brad Holmes is going to do. No. Like he could have loved the interview with him, and that's who he goes with if he drops, and maybe he didn't. But I'm sticking to my guns here. Just give me defense. I mean, that's that's all I want right now is some defense, even a corner flannel. There's a couple corners here left on the board. Tyreek Stevenson from Miami. There's a few guys. Julius Brents, Kansas State. Like there's guys there. I know Clark Phillips. Guys in the back love Clark Phillips.
You know what? That's fair. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Cam Smith as well. Like I'm not trying
Michigan
to be,
guy DJ Turner.
DJ Turner is another one, and JB. I'm not gonna lie. When I mentioned Hendon Hooker, you just like lit up like a Christmas tree. Is that somebody that you would want the Lions to take at 48?
If anything, if I could get one pick to hit tonight, it would just be Hendon Hooker to the Lions. Please, just one. That's all I'm asking for, Brad Holmes. Just one. We disappointed from round 1. Round 2 has not started off very well. This tight end pick, I'm not all for it. But as Booner said, I have to ride with D-Mac as well on this. I gotta stay the course. So please, come on. Brad Holmes, Hendon Hooker. Let's go.
Especially when they haven't hit the field yet. And it looks like the Saints at pick 40 drafted defensive end from Notre Dame, Isaiah Foskey. And I like that pick for them. They're pairing Isaiah Foskey and Brian Brzee on the defensive line, shoring up that defense. I think the New Orleans Saints, I would probably pick them as the favorite to win the NFC South. And I really like that pick for him, and especially when you pair it with Brzee.
They lost, I believe, almost like their whole defensive line was like all gone. I think Cam Jordan was like the only one that's left. So, I mean, you just brought in 2 defensive linemen, and they're sitting pretty good right now. I think that's a good pick for them.
Yes. And
I'm just super interested to see who falls here. We have, another 7 picks here to the Detroit Lions.
We got,
I'm interested. I mean, Brian Branch, Branch is still on the board. This is interesting that he just keeps falling and keeps falling and keeps falling. I'm interested to see if he makes it down that far. But to JB's point, too, with Hendon Hooker, I mean, yeah, he's 25. I saw people in the chat. He's 25 coming off an ACL. But you're looking for a guy that, I mean, all the golf fans and everything, and I like golf, but he's here for the next 2 years, right?
Yeah,
you have a guy
contract.
like Hendon Hooker that basically you get him in the second round, you're paying him what, $7 or $8 million to be a backup, and he potentially could be a good player. Like you know what I mean? Like he could be your Teddy Bridgewater on a cheaper deal. That's how I look at it. If you get a guy like that in the second round, who if he never tore his ACL, he's a first round draft pick.
100%. And given that the Lions have already went heavy offense early on in the draft, the Hendon Hooker pick wouldn't necessarily be my first choice, but for all the people out there that just say Jared Goff is fine, he had a great season, it's not as simple as that. And I appreciate the hell out of what Jared Goff did last year. How could you not? He had a great year. But Daniel Jones just signed a contract for $40 million.
Yes.
At some point, Jared Goff is going to want that extension, and he has every right to ask for a $45 million a year extension.
I agree.
Do you want to pay that?
No, I do not.
You don't.
I keep saying it.
Yeah.
Is if the Detroit Lions do what they're supposed to do in the NFC North, win the NFC North, win a playoff game, and potentially try and compete for an NFC championship, right after that, I mean, if I'm Jared Goff and I'm his agent, you're stupid not to ask for an extension. You're stupid. Go ask for an extension and get the $45 million. And as a Detroit Lions fan, I personally don't want to pay that. That's why I've been on a rookie quarterback. So that's where I'm at. I do love Jared Goff, though. I mean, I don't know if everyone's heard my Jared Goff story about shooting him message to motivate him for the year, but that's my guy for sure.
We got to hear that story after, but another big shout out to Dante151. He's got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Are the Lions turning into the Detroit Hawkeyes with all the Iowa Hawkeye players we keep on drafting? LOL. Thank you so much, Dante151. What do you guys think about that?
The correct answer is absolutely yes. If you would have told me that out of the first 34 picks, out of the first 3 picks that the Lions made, that 2 of them would be Iowa Hawkeyes, there's no possibility in the entire world, any scenario where I thought that would be anything close to being true, but yet here it is. They absolutely are the Detroit Hawkeyes, and with how I would say mid Iowa has been at football throughout, they've just been a very, very solid Big Ten program. The consistent 7-5, 8-4 Citrus Bowl team. That's not something that you really want to be. Although that doesn't mean all Iowa players are going to be bad.
We actually were talking about Iowa today, and as you just said, they're probably the most average college football team. Like every year in their division, they're competing to win their division, and they're always kind of sitting there like just average. They never make that next step. But I did it. That was a great comment because I saw here on Twitter Neil's becoming straight a full heel with the Iowa stuff now. He tweeted out the Detroit Hawkeyes as well, and then he quote tweeted it and said, "Does Iowa have a fullback that the Detroit Lions can pick as the next pick overall?" So
is that fair?
That's fair.
That is fair.
We need to get some Detroit Hawkeyes shirts getting going here.
Do they have a fullback with a neck roll who runs like a 4.8? Is that what? Is that what they're?
A Corey Schlesinger.
A Corey
guy.
Schlesinger.
Give
absolutely.
me that.
Give me Corey Schlesinger. Jesus Christ. The Arizona Cardinals. It looks like their pick is in just a second. I'm curious to see how these next two go. And with their first round pick, they picked Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle for Ohio State. The Arizona Cardinals, they have a lot of needs, so I'm assuming that they'll probably take best player available. Man, this has just been been a crazy draft. This has been probably the most unpredictable I've ever seen. Do we say that every year?
To be honest, I feel like last year we really did it because we got Aiden Hutchinson. The only, I guess, Jamison Williams going training up, it was. But the Hutch thing, let me take that fully back because Hutch wasn't supposed to fall to Detroit. He was going to be number 1 overall, I feel like, going into it. And we were supposed to who was it that everyone was guaranteeing? Thibodeau.
Oh, yeah.
He was supposed to be coming to us. So maybe every single year there's something to this.
Well, thank you for the gift, Jacksonville Jaguars, because I'm sure you regret taking Trayvon Walker. And Aiden Hutchinson had more sacks this rookie year than Trayvon Walker and Kayvon Thibodeau combined, which is crazy, by the way. And the Arizona Cardinals pick is in. I'm curious to see where this goes. Please don't. BJ Ojulari, linebacker from LSU. I actually like that. I like that pick. He's an edge rusher. I mean, that's the thing. You got your quarterback, Kyler Murray, who you're, for better or for worse, that's your guy. He's under contract. You get probably the best tackle prospect in the draft. I would say the consensus best tackle prospect in the draft. Then you get a BJ Ojulari, a guy who can get after the quarterback.
That was a defense that had to get built up, too.
I like that pick for them a lot, actually. And I like BJ Ojulari, the player. He's versatile, I like guys who can get to the quarterback.
And easy. I don't know if is your mic on?
I think so.
Yes.
Are we good? What are your initial thoughts on this?
Man, I kind of let go of all thoughts last night. Like last night kind of drained me of the surprise, you know? Like I'm not surprised. There's not too many dots to connect with this one for me though, personally. I'll be honest with you. Like most of the time I can. Last year the Detroit Lions they made a franchise record in touchdowns for the tight end position. I think very vividly you remember the New York Jets game where they won in the game winner to a tight end. The one after that, I believe it was Zylstra that had 3 touchdowns. Or
he had 4.
Right? 4?
Yeah.
4 touchdowns? Like, I don't know, man. Did it feel like something you need to address as early as the second round? There are highlights of Sam Laporta that intrigued me, but who intrigued me more at the tight end positions honestly would be names like Darnell Washington and Michael Mayer. But
right, that's what we were saying.
We just got to see it through, my boys. I don't know what to tell you.
This is my thing, and I don't know if it'll make you feel better, but like what D-Mac, I keep saying it out here, what D-Mac was saying is just the fact that like Dan Campbell, like it's shown now after the 3rd pick that he's just getting his guys, and Brad Holmes, he doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about best player available. He doesn't care about best player at that position. Yeah. Brad Holmes is like, hey, I've done my homework with all the top 5 tight ends, and Laporta was the guy that stood out to me, and he's the guy that's gonna be a Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes guy.
The thing for me though is like I kind of had this little bit of a rant yesterday. Sam was like, just the tight end position itself, like drafted it early, it's never felt like enough of a return on investment. That was more specifically to the first round, but like again with the production of the tight ends last year, it just didn't feel like something you needed to address, especially as early as the second round.
You had a list in which 4 out of 20 were maybe justified their pick in the past like 20 or so years. So I definitely get that. And speaking of tight ends,
they just breaking
news, Green Bay Packers at pick 42 overall select Luke Musgrave, tight end from Oregon.
Wow.
I mean, Robert Tunyon's getting up there. He's had some injury concerns. They need more weapons for Jordan Love.
Yeah. I was surprised they didn't go tight end in round 1, to be honest, with Dalton Kincaid.
No, dude.
I saw almost every mock draft was they were going to get Dalton Kincaid.
Listen, these mock drafts have been way off this year. And one thing too, everyone who thought they were taking a pass catcher in the first round were out of your minds. They had they're a Super Bowl bound team with Aaron Rodgers at one point that needed an extra wide receiver.
They never did.
And they refused to address in the first round. So there's just no way they were going to go that route.
And honestly, I know we're not big Aaron Rodgers people here. I'm higher on him than most. Wouldn't it have been just like complete bullshit if in Jordan Love's first year, like, hey, we'll give you a first round weapon? That's just like angering the football gods.
I kind of wanted them to do that. I want everything bad going on in Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, and
that
that's
would be
all
a
the
good
drama
thing.
in
That would be a
Green
good
Bay.
thing they grabbed a pass catcher, right?
That is fair. Well, JB, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, the Woodward heavyweights are going to take over the desk. It's an honor doing this show with you, Booner. It was a lot of fun.
You guys chill for a minute if you want.
Hey, I might get back on the chair at some point. Maybe, Booner, if you want to as well. But the desk is going to be taken over by the Woodward heavyweights. We will be right back.
Is it?
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America.
Woodward Sports
The first sports network born in Detroit.
and made for Detroit.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog.
Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Change of plans, guys. Surprise. Final Sam and
We're
Booner
back,
are
baby.
back. But we do have one half of the Woodward heavyweights in the chair. Our boys Speak Easy Sports. I knew
baby.
Spenny would want to just chill in the back and not come up with
Spenny's
that.
back there.
He's got week in jail, guys. You guys know
Yeah.
he has to check in for week in jail every Friday around like 7 o'clock. Why is this a surprise to you?
He should be back any minute now.
You should be back any minute now.
From jail that fast?
Well, he's going back to check in, right? And he's just coming back. I don't know how that
No,
works.
man.
to
They
be
keep you
honest.
till Sunday morning.
I don't know how that works.
So is the Woodward heavyweights some sort of pseudo work release program for old Spenny? I would
Exactly.
say. I would.
Exactly.
I would.
That's why there's so much pent-up energy on that show.
So much pent-up energy. But that's all right. I am more than happy to take the baton for as long as they need me. Talking draft, second round coverage by Woodward Sports. It really is surreal being up here, all these people watching, the draft getting so much buzz. This really is one of the biggest weeks of the year always.
Yep.
And at the end of this week, I think I'm just going to crash for like 3 days straight. But you
Man.
know what? We've put everything into this.
The show last night, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was my first time here with Woodward doing that show and being a part of it. I had a blast.
Can I pick on you for a second?
Please do whatever you want.
All right. Who was your favorite quarterback this year?
Yeah. We've already, the chat already knows. We already talked about it on the show.
I
here, that
didn't
was a
get
Will
to talk
Levis
about
guy.
it with you. All right.
Hey, I'm with Maz because me and Maz have had this conversation today.
What?
Is Will Levis? I mean, whoever gets him now is getting him on a great deal. He was a top 10 prospect. The only bad thing, you know
Was
what's
he?
really
'Cause he
hurt
went
him?
the second round.
The reason he's dropping and everyone's talked about it today is the fact that teams don't like how cocky or whatever it is that he is. Like they're saying that the pictures of him flexing in the mirror, and I even saw I forgot his name. Someone came out on one of their shows and said that they thought his biceps were too big in one of his pictures.
Oh my god!
So there's all these things going on, and
Are you seriously buying into that?
no, Ian Rappaport said it. I'm pretty sure on the Pat McAfee show, and said that there are actually executives that don't like that.
Oh yeah, I can see
So
them
that's
thinking
why
it's a
he's
cocky
dropping
thing.
right now is the cockiness and.
Here's point blank period. Jalen Carter had a lot of way more character issues than flexing in a mirror, right?
Hey,
and he still went top 10.
He was minus 1,500 to go in the top
because
5.
of the same way GameStop took over the stocks.
If you know gambling, minus 1,500. That is like a March Madness. That is insane. If you took the underdog on that, that's a 16-1 seed.
He just wasn't a top 10 prospect, Booner. I had a lot less to do with him flexing in the mirror.
Hey, there's a lot of guys that were ranked top 15, and they're still on the board right now.
All right.
Yeah, Will Levis was one of them. But you are a betting guy. Did you hit any of the bets last night? The draft being as crazy as it is right now?
I don't have anything. I'm not going to say what my bet was today because it lost. But yesterday I had Bijan Robinson to go in the top 10. That was my guaranteed lock, and obviously that he went number 7 to the Atlanta Falcons.
First time, have you convinced yourself that Jahmyr Gibbs is have you convinced yourself that Jahmyr Gibbs is better than Bijan Robinson?
Absolutely not. He's not better than Bijan Robinson, but he's a very fine, I wouldn't say consolation prize because they got him at 12. I like a lot of what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. I think he's the best pass-catching running back coming out of the draft. He's shifty and elusive and fast. I love all of that. I think and I know this is kind of a cop-out, I think that his ceiling is a facsimile of Alvin Kamara. And if he becomes that, he's worth every bit of being the number 12 pick overall. But
go ahead.
To me, Bijan Robinson, that's a guy that will step right into the NFL and be a top 3 back in the league. He will be the best running back in the NFL in 3 years, no doubt.
Did you see the report from Tom Pelissero that they were prepared to take him at 6?
Yes, I did see that.
6.
So they think that he was the better fit than Bijan. Real quick, too.
I think he's more explosive.
I saw the chat was asking for updates on these last 2 picks. So I don't know if we mentioned Green Bay Packers selected Luke Musgrave.
Yes.
Yep.
Tight end, and then Joe Tittman to center from Wisconsin to the New York Jets. So they kind of boosted that lineup, right, for Aaron Rodgers coming in.
Yeah,
got to.
Gotta give him some offensive line help. I mean, the New York Jets, they got Will McDonald in the first round, an edge rusher who I think is a very, very good player, but it looked like a little bit of a reach. But shoring up the offensive line at 43, I don't necessarily hate it at this point. But Joe Tittman was another one that I'm not mad that the Lions missed out on. So that's all I really want at this point. Have them pick players that the Lions weren't gonna want anyway, and at that point, that's kind of where we're at. And the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep,
they selected cornerback Julius Brents from Kansas State, which I like Julius Brents.
I do. In an easy, I want to ask you this too because we were talking about it a little bit ago. For this next pick here at 48, I'm kind of locked in as we've gone offense for 2 of the last 3 picks. I'm kind of at the point to where obviously our weakness was defenses last year. We were 30th or 31st, whatever we ended the year on.
Yeah.
They have to go defense these next 2 picks, correct? Like you can't go 3 of your first 4 picks offense.
I can't speak on this draft and Brad Holmes' draft board.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
Jahmyr Gibbs going at 12, and also again per Tom Pelissero, them being prepared to take him at 6. I can't tell you that any defender is being prepared to be taken at 48, man. I really can't. And that goes with like everyone else's draft board too, because there's still guys that Osiris Torrance, per draft pundits, was like the number 1 guard in this draft class. He's still there.
He's still out there.
Like that wasn't supposed to be the case either. People were talking about him going as a first rounder.
Whoa.
We have breaking news. I don't know if should we break it?
I believe so, yeah.
Breaking news, the Detroit Lions have traded up with the Green Bay Packers. It looks like the Lions, per Tom Pelissero, the Lions are on the clock right now.
Wow.
They just traded with the Green Bay Packers. The Lions are on the clock. Let's get some defense. That's what I'm not a fan of. And you know what? Can I say one thing real quick? You know who's still on the board?
Hendon Hooker.
Brian Branch is still on the board. Give me Brian Branch to the Detroit Lions. Just add to this defense. Give us more players. You have CJ Spencer.
It's going to be some guy we don't even know.
Our guy Booner wants defense.
I don't know.
No, we did have the draft on. It changed automatically.
The draft changes. I mean, who does this in the middle of the NFL
I've
draft?
been tracking on.
They put the
There
NBA playoffs and it switches over to ESPN too. That is. I mean,
right as the Lions were picking too.
Right as the Lions. No, it's been like that. I've honestly been just tracking on my laptop, but it's not nearly as convenient. Well, this escalated things quickly because I thought I was just going to be able to hand the baton off
Who is
to.
It?
Wait.
Let's not announce it just yet.
No announcing.
Wait until the pick is
but
in.
We will see.
Wow.
I'm interested to see what they traded to move up because they basically moved up 3 or 4 spots here.
No, I think I know if they're right.
I genuinely have no idea who this is.
I think
no spoilers.
They gave 48 and 159 to move up.
48 and 159 to move up.
Per sources.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
We figured the Detroit, we figured Brad Holmes was going to make another move.
Why is defensive end a need on this team? Hey,
That's one thing that I don't understand either.
Mel Kiper, you fucking idiot. Why is defensive end a need on this team?
Spenny, tell us how you really feel.
If defensive tackle wasn't on there, but defensive end is.
Which the Lions still
stupid?
haven't addressed, by the way.
I mean, I guess everybody needs defensive ends, but come on. Aiden Hutchinson,
Wow.
James Houston,
Wait,
Quarles,
Buddha, do you know what it is?
Charles Harris.
Did you know when he said it?
No, I had no clue.
Shut up.
The Lions pick. It's the anticipation is killing me,
If it
man.
happens during commercial, I'm gonna be pissed.
The pick is in.
What's
Here
the
we
chat
go.
want? Does chat want the answer, or they want to wait?
No,
Well, there
nobody
are-
wants the
Well,
answer.
the answer's out.
Well, some people don't have their phones on.
All right, there are people in the chat that already have put it in there.
No.
Don't do it.
Don't do
let's-
it. Don't
no,
do it.
Do it. Do it.
We got to get your
All right, I'm
reactions,
announcing
too.
it because I wanted this guy. The Detroit Lions have selected Brian Branch.
I like it.
Safety out of Alabama. Eric,
I don't mind it.
can I get some claps around here? Anyone? No?
I
We finally got
I
a
like
pick
it.
that we wanted,
I like
and
it.
we traded up. You might not have wanted him, but he was the best available player.
He was.
They're like, we wanted to boost the defense up, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson's on a 1-year deal.
He is,
Is
yeah.
he playing next year? No.
He is the pick that I think is easiest to stomach when it was first made, because all three before it have been shockers. And this one, Brian Branch, is a guy, and I said this, if he fell to 48, it was highway robbery. But falling to 45, having the Lions have to trade up, I don't necessarily hate it. Spenny, are you in?
I don't know what's going on here tonight.
Are you ready to take over on the desk after I just gave the false alarm about 10 minutes ago? You good?
He's looking good. Does he look like
He
he's
doesn't
good?
look like he's good, does he? Am I gonna have
No.
to? All right then.
You're stuck there.
That's
Lucas, I can have
Do you want Brian
No,
Branch's
bro, you're
RAS
good.
score? That's something a lot of people seem to like.
the RAS score. What's his RAS score?
Actually, let's make it fun. You want to take a guess?
It's probably really good. I know he's like known as a smart player, and
RAS like your
that's
athletic.
true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
Relative athletic score.
He's not very fast. I know that.
Yeah.
So
Take a guess. And Booner, actually, with your computer, will you look
Yep.
up CJGJ's RAS score from when he was drafted? What's your guess, Flannel Sam? No cheating.
what is it, like scale of 1 to 100?
Yeah, no, 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10.
Yeah, but it's like decimals. Decimals are in there.
8.3.
5.27.
Ooh, that's
You already looked it up?
No, that's Brian Branch's. That's the
All
reason
right,
why he fell in this draft. He was
Yeah.
supposed to be a first rounder that he tested horribly.
He did, but would you agree though that he's got some of the most impressive tape of any of any DB in the entire draft?
Yeah, I mean, he fell extremely far. Like he was projected to go in the first round.
Yeah.
And I said before the draft, I told Spenny this earlier today. I said I'm coming into the second round. I just want to come out of here with 3 first-round talents, and
Yeah.
I think you get one in Brian Branch.
I would agree with that.
And I think, and now you look at the Laporta thing, and we wanted, like, Brian Branch was a option at 34 when we were sitting there, and now we get him at 45. Like, to me, you probably could have got Laporta at 45. They just made it the hard way and gave up 150 something.
They should have just like not got Laporta at all. But you know what? That's another discussion for another day. I see Sue Yu in the chat.
Sue.
Branch is boring, like Z's like
No,
snoring. And
no. I mean, it's not super exciting, but did you pull up
I'm looking for it right now. I can't find it.
Gardner Johnson's RAS score? I just want to see what they compare, because that's like his like play style, right? He's like that nickel hybrid.
Yeah, like slot
hybrid safety / corner.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously that's what we have now in CJGJ. Does this show lack of commitment to him, or is this like a backup plan? Like what?
Well, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is on a 1-year deal. And I think that C.J. Gardner-Johnson has the potential to be one of the most valuable defensive players for the Lions this next year, as he was for the Philadelphia Eagles last year on a very damn good defense. I like the Brian Branch pick.
I mean, at this point, you look at the safety core, right? You look at the DBs. Our DBs right now in our secondary is completely upgraded from last year. It's night and day difference.
Yeah, for
sure.
And
For
now
the
you
year,
have
yeah.
Brian Branch, to where if there is some type, like last year, you had the Tracy Walker injury. If something happens kind of through this year, you're not sitting there left. Like, obviously we had Kirby Joseph, but no one knew Kirby Joseph was going to be Kirby Joseph until he was the Kirby Joseph we know now. Like, we didn't know that. And now you're looking at it to where if something does happen, you have that flexibility. Deshaun Elliott, he left. He went to Miami. So now you're sitting there, that's kind of Deshaun Elliott's replacement. I love that. I do love it. Like I said, you could have gotten that at 34 and he stayed till 45. And I mean, maybe they traded up because they thought New England or Washington was going to grab him real quick. That's that's obviously what happened. So I love the pick. I think finally we got best player available. I don't know what the chat's thinking right now. I would love to see how the chat feels, but
The chat I think the chat overall likes it.
The first one I read was this pick sucks.
Well, there's always going to be someone, but it was the first pick, and I know this isn't something to put a ton of stock in, and I know you're going to know what I'm talking about. Easy. Every other pick, no pun intended, did not go down easy. They were all shocks to the system.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Brian Branch, I'm not saying he's necessarily a safe pick. What I'm saying is Brian Branch at 45 to me, and I've used this analogy many, many times all throughout the shows I've been on. If Brian Branch falls to you at 45, you take the gift.
Yep.
You don't re-gift it to another team. You take it, you embrace it, you mold him, you make him the nickel corner safety hybrid of the future. That's the thing. The NFL, they play a lot of spread offenses. You can never have too many of those slot corners, hybrid sort of players. And I think Brian Branch was certainly the best one in this draft. And given his talent, I think he could be one of the steals. That's his ceiling, I would say.
You know what? You're speaking of regifting things. I mean,
Yes.
we're talking about the pick, obviously, Brian Branch. How about the trade with another interdivision rival, Green Bay Packers?
Yeah.
You just gave them some loot to fire back at you. I'm not a fan of the interdivision rival. Like I know people say it's like what do they say? It's an old school mentality. But like, I mean, I guess I don't care. It's not my job. But for the sake of a GM's job, if I were to give a rival GM within my same division ammunition, and they killed me with it, you're fired.
Well, what
You're
if
fired. If Green Bay uses that pick and they go draft the next.
All right, when you
Whoever.
give up 150, though, I mean, you look at it, the Packers side is the Packers let you get up and jump someone to get Brian Branch, to where Brian Branch probably has a better opportunity to be better in the NFC North than that pick 150, whatever it is, 154 is it?
159, right?
159?
I got a shout out before we move on. Bomb Squad Alvarez, he just sent us a $5 gift, and he says, and this is interesting, this is a Bama fan here. Branch is an absolute stud. High awareness, extremely agile, great hips, good hands, extremely intelligent. He will be dearly missed, and that is something that is often touted about Brian Branch, is he is one of the most intelligent football players in this draft, sort of a captain on defense. My favorite stat about Brian Branch, 14 tackles for loss in his last year at Alabama. That just shows that he is a playmaker. He can stop the run. He can make big plays, blow up those bubble screens. I'm happy with this one. This is the first one where I wouldn't say, you know what? I am over the moon. Brian Branch at 45.
Let's
I'm going
go,
to celebrate a
Flannel.
little bit. I've had too
Let's
much
go.
disappointment. I had to deal with Sam Laporta at 34, which I still not quite recovered from. I still had to deal with at least the initial shock of Jameer Gibbs and Jack Campbell in the first round. The New England Patriots pick is in, man. I really got to pivot really quick.
I was going to say Brian Branch is in at the draft right now, and he was just with all the Lions fans, and he's hyped.
Dope.
He's excited to be in Detroit, which a guy like that fell from the first round, you want to see that.
He had the best highlights, like Sam said, out of this draft class. But like the thing that made him fail again was that the athleticism.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it too. Like maybe CJ helps usher him into filling that role. But the athleticism there's quite a bit of difference there. They're the same 10-yard split. Who the Patriots take, by the way?
I don't see yet. And by the way, people keep mentioning the 4.58 40 time for Brian Branch, which is a little bit concerning.
Yes,
and
that's what I was going to get to, is the athleticism.
Yes. The Patriots select Keon White, defensive end for Georgia.
I like him.
I'll tell you what.
I would like to have him.
The Patriots, that's a damn good pick. Doesn't that just seem like a guy that will absolutely thrive under Bill Belichick and just come right in and be a poor man's Matthew Judon by like year 2 or 3? He was considered by a lot of people the best available player at this point. You see that everywhere. He was a guy that was projected as a lower end first round talent, and the New England Patriots got him at 46. I like Keon White a lot. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm super disappointed that the Lions can't get him, because I don't think it's as big a position of need. But for the New England Patriots, man, I cannot stress enough how good of a pick. You said you like him a lot, Easy.
The thing that makes me feel a lot better about these picks too is, because at least specifically to like what Booner was talking about, was like taking defensive ends or defense for the Detroit Lions. And obviously the number one need on defense is defensive tackle.
Yep.
In between like these picks, there's not really any other defensive tackles coming off the board.
There's one on the board left, and I keep mispronouncing his name, and I apologize. But
I know you like Keanu Benton.
Keanu Benton, yeah.
How
do you mispronounce that one?
I keep saying Keanu, but it's Keanu.
Yeah.
Keanu.
By the way,
That-
Booner, it's literally like it's spelled.
Yeah, I know. I'm still learning. Not
I'm
how to
still
read,
learning.
but that name. But no, seriously though, he's still sitting there. I mean, how many picks away are we from Detroit?
All right,
8 or 9 now.
47. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
55, right?
And like you said, there's no. I mean, the DN there's no defensive tackles or interior that's going right now.
Yes.
If he falls to Detroit, like I said, that last pick had to be a defensive player, and you went and got Brian Branch. I promise you, I'll jump over the moon and I'll run out of the studio with my shirt off if we get Brian Branch and Keanu Benton.
Yeah.
Like that would fix the Laporta. Like you come out with Laporta, Keanu Benton. It would.
No, I know. It sounds like a piece of shit car. That would fix the Laporta.
It probably is a car, but
All right, and the Washington Commanders at pick 47 picked Illinois safety Jartavius Martin. I believe that is how you pronounce that name. Again,
That's impressive.
That is impressive. You get
Pronunciation by you.
Emmanuel Forbes at 16 and Martin at 47. Think about this, and I think this is something that is a little bit slept on. Illinois has been DBU lately. You get Kirby Joseph, Devon Witherspoon, Sidney Brown, and now Jartavius Martin. They've been really stacking them over there. And we obviously know what it looks like the Washington Commanders are doing. They are shoring up that secondary. And I don't necessarily hate it. I think Forbes at 16 was a little bit of a reach, but he's a playmaker.
I mean, even Illinois too. Flannel. Sidney Brown is.
Yeah, Sidney Brown.
That's another one. Like they've had some guys in that secondary.
Like a lot of guys.
Yeah.
They had their own version of the no-fly zone, basically, when you talk about the last 2 seasons.
Which, I mean, they're in the Big Ten, so there's not a lot of flying.
There's not a lot of flying that goes along anyway.
They didn't do much there.
That is a great line. But another one, Jartavius Martin. He's not somebody that the Lions really need at 55, and we kind of mentioned this before. Easy. That's all I'm really looking for at this point.
I do want to kind of broder over there.
Yeah.
I do have the pick here for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I would love your input on this guy once they do announce it, because in the back he came to me a lot about this guy, and he actually talked to me about the Detroit Lions taking a shot at him. So it should be in any second now.
Is it my guy Cody?
It is Broder's guy though.
Oh, I'm curious to see.
Who's your guy?
Oh, I know who it is.
Yep.
Does he have red hair?
He does have red hair, and he's an electric factory.
Oh.
I don't want to see Broder's soul leave his body. He's a positive guy, and now he's going to be sad. I don't know if I like that, but you know what? That's all right.
He's happy. He's seen his guy get drafted
That
on
is
draft
fair.
day. You know.
That is fair, and they're just about to announce it. There's Roger Goodell and all of his glory. I don't ever like to cheat and give it away too fast. We already know who it is, but I like to see it officially. At pick 48, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select. Drum roll, please.
Who is it?
We
got is Cody.
This is taking a little bit.
Rogers is talking.
There
right
we
now.
go. Cody Mock, offensive tackle from North Dakota State. So, Broder, you're probably thinking that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they really got themselves a player, right?
Steal of the draft.
Steal of the draft.
Steal of the draft. No, he's a great player. He's one of those versatile offensive linemen in this year's draft that can play all 5 positions. You know, he was a tight end going into college at North Dakota State, and it's put on weight and transformed into a really solid offensive lineman. I loved his versatility when I was thinking about a fit with the Lions and the things they could do, the support you could provide to that offensive line. But hey, Buccaneers, they got a good one.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick for them, and we're going to come right back. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Spenmo Rax will finally make his way to the desk. A few picks late, but it is all good. We will be right back to our second round draft coverage from Woodward Sports.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Into
any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Branch. That's my guy.
That's your guy?
Let's go.
All right, so what up, though, everybody? We're back for the Woodward Sports watch party of round 2 of the 2023 NFL Draft. I am Spencer. I'm sitting here with Booner. We got JB in the TD booth and our guy Broder on the 1s and 2s. And in the Maz chair, a very special guest, my guy Nick, also known as Tailgate Wins, also known as an honorary heavyweight. You are extremely excited about this pick.
Brian Branch is an elite player in this draft, one of very few, and I believe he's going to take this defense to a whole nother level, especially because we have those corners on 1-year contracts. This is going to be a huge guy, a part of the Detroit Lions' future, no doubt about it. Let's go, huge pickup.
How much does he play next year, though?
I think he fills in every I wouldn't say a percentage of snaps, but I got to say I am super excited about Brian Branch and his potential in this Lions defense in a similar role to Gardner Johnson, no doubt, because he's super versatile. What do you think, Boone?
No, yeah, and I mean, last year, I mean, obviously we saw Tracy Walker, you know, he went down with an injury. I mean, you just have depth now. And, I mean, they rotated guys all year last year. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we just had 2 guys and they were just playing those 2. Like, no, there was multiple guys getting rotated. And, I mean, they're not taking Brian Branch if they know they're not going to play him next. Like, they're taking him to play him. Like, he's going to play. They're going to find a rotation for him, and he's going to learn. Like, he is going to. We have C.J. Gardner-Johnson for 1 year. He's going to learn a ton from a veteran like that. Like,
it's definitely going to help him. It's definitely going to help him. They're a similar play style. They can do a lot of different things, play multiple positions out there. For me, is he going to fill in for Tracy Walker? Maybe Tracy Walker is not all the way there yet.
I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe he's not ready to start the season just yet. Brian Branch, it's a great pickup. That was a day 1 guy in most people's eyes. That was a first-round draft pick in a majority of people's eyes. So I like this pickup. I do. It's a great player, but I just want a defensive tackle so bad, man. I want one so bad.
I think we could get one. I think there's going to be one that falls to us, and I'm really hoping we get him. Maybe I should stop saying it so I don't jinx us, but I'm just going to stop talking about that.
I think they got to get one, right? They're still on the board. You still got 3 big ones on the board.
You don't get one pick of those for another 2 rounds. That's the thing, and it's like
that's true.
You have to build up this defense. In the I don't know, what was your biggest need on this defense?
Defensive tackle.
At the beginning of the draft.
Defensive tackle.
Exactly.
The most glaring need on the entire team.
Maybe they know something else, that they may do a trade at some point for a guy, or I don't know if there's a free agent out there at this point. Like, I don't know, Spenny.
Maybe moving up to get that, moving back to get the 2nd round pick, getting rid of your 3rd, tells you they're getting one in round 2, does it not? You, like you said, you don't have a pick for 2 rounds.
Yeah, you have to do that.
You have to take a defensive tackle here.
Oh, no, and literally as we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just ripped our hearts out. Keanu Benton, he just went. That was the guy to me. Spenny's sleeping right now.
I'm not sleeping. I'm upset. I'm hurt. Keanu Benton is a guy. He is one of those guys. I like Javon Dexter as well, so hopefully they can get him at 58. But you also still have those tackles out there, or the guards, I'm sorry. Brian Branch is a great pick, but it doesn't fill a need right now for this team. It's a good value, and if he's truly going best player available, best guy available, it would be Brian Branch there, but there are other needs on this team.
I'm with you. I mean, maybe Javon Dexter does make it down there, and that's their. I mean, I don't know. There's a handful of defensive tackles left on the board. I have no. I mean, we could keep going back and forth with this in the first round. Like, we had no clue what they were going to do.
No, I had no clue what they're going to do now. He just took a tight end and a safety. What the fuck? Like, are you serious? I mean, if you came into this draft before today and said they were going to go running back, linebacker, tight end, safety with their first 4 picks, you would have got laughed out of the building. Nobody knows everyone's losing their minds. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. He can do he can pick Jake Moody. Shut up.
All right, I won't say anything.
Yeah, no, they're not picking Jake Moody.
I thought they were getting Jake Moody with number 34, so I don't know what everyone's talking about.
Nick, who should they go here at 58?
At 58, you got to go one of the big guys. I like Ika. He's not I know he's still.
He's a big boy.
From Baylor,
Yeah, he's a big boy. He'll take up space in the middle, but my thoughts here is Levi is coming back, and he's going to come back strong. Because
Fucking
I mean, I thought he was a bust, but everything coming out now is that it's looking like he's practicing again. So I think Brad Holmes has faith in his guy from 2 years ago, Levi Onwuzurike, and I believe that's what he's thinking here if he doesn't go defensive tackle with his last pick in the second round.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. The only thing with it is, like, it's so hard just to trust in that. And I know they're in the building, so they know where he's at in the process and what he can do right now and where he'll be back at. But just to kind of fall back on that and just completely ignore that you need an interior defender, to me, that's why I'm convinced that they do that. And Spenny, look who just went off the board there, your guy. To the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Wide receiver Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed to the Packers.
Michigan State. Yep.
All right, I like it.
I mean, that's part
Shout out Jaden Reed, Spartan Dog. You love to see it. But, man, it's... At least it's not a defensive tackle.
They got Jordan Love another weapon. Yeah, they got Jordan Love another weapon. Is that like a thing with Aaron? Like, I don't know, kind of back with the Aaron Rodgers, and how late they waited to take a receiver or a tight end to kind of give Aaron Rodgers weapons, but they just added. I mean, I like Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's a great player out of Michigan State. Obviously, I think he's going to be seeing him in the NFC North. I don't know how you guys feel about them, Broder, in the NFC North. I mean, that we're going to have to see Jaden Reed every single year now.
You're going to have
twice
to
a
see
year.
Jaden Reed, and you can't forget about the 2 they got last year.
Yeah,
Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson.
Those guys,
they're not slouches.
Man,
but they got Jordan Love. They don't got Aaron Rodgers anymore.
I don't know what happened. Oh,
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith just went to the Miami Dolphins, another corner. And that was a guy that I know Lucas here loved him.
Oh.
That was one of Baydoun's guys, too. Cam Smith.
That's one of my guys, too. I love Cam Smith.
Okay, so no, before you get mad, if he's available at 55, are you going defensive tackle interior, or are you going to corner if he's available?
No, I would have gone interior defensive tackle, but we needed him more than we need Brian Branch.
That's fair. A corner.
You need an outside corner. I mean, Brian Branch can play corner as well. He can move around. Tim Wilson in the Woodward Sports chat. Yeah, I am gonna cry, bro. This is. I'll trust Brad Holmes. I'll feel good. It's all right. Brian Branch. What was his biggest flaw? His speed, right?
Yeah,
his speed. He wasn't fast enough.
A tough 40.
So people saying defensive back, cornerback, you're good with that? You're good with a slow cornerback on the outside? Now that you're dealing with Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs on the Packers, Justin Jefferson. They just drafted somebody. Who did they draft? The Vikings.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison.
Yep. They added
and
another
KJ
weapon.
Osborne.
Yep.
And then the Bears are the Bears. They don't throw the ball because Justin Fields can't. But
I mean, even this.
If you're telling me he's going to play cornerback, I'm going to need to see a 4-4. Like,
I am interested. I want to hear tonight. Like, I keep saying it too. Like I said it as soon as we saw the Laporta pick. Like, I want to see this press conference tonight because I'm interested to see what I love Brian Branch, but like you are right in a sense. It's like, all right, we do have a lot of safeties now, and corner was that. Like that need kind of for backup, especially with the 1-year deals. I'm really interested to see Brad Holmes. Why on Brian Branch?
I know, and
is it because he believes he can play corner?
I see it in the chat. Lions secondary is fine. Oh my God, yeah. Okay,
it is fine. Oh yeah.
Obviously, they feel a little bit about it because they just took a safety. It's the 1-year deals right now. This year, oh yeah, will be great. Don't worry. Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, or Emmanuel Mosley. Obviously, the back end with the safeties, Kirby and Tracy, and then you got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's great. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's gone after next year unless he re-signs. Emmanuel Mosley's gone after next year unless he re-signs. So they're either re-signing one of them or have faith in Jerry Jacobs to step up and be that CB2, because Brian Branch is a safety. He's not a cornerback in the NFL. He's not going to play cornerback in the NFL. So I'm cool with it, but they addressed it.
We might lose Spenny here right now. I can't tell if we're going to lose Spenny.
The pick is in for the Seahawks. They took Zach Charbonnet, running back, UCLA. You probably know him from when he played at Michigan. Very good runner, 3-down guy, big guy, can make a lot of different things happen. I like that pick for them.
Yeah.
I like that pick for them. Chicago is now on the board.
I mean, he's just basically backing up K9 at this point.
Who does Chicago go?
Rashad Penny's gone.
It's their version of Smash and Dash. They got the fast guy in K9. Now they got a bruiser in Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Easy.
You forgot to change your underwear.
Who do the Bears go here? Division rival, making a pick. Easy's favorite team in the NFL, the Chicago Bears.
Fuck the Bears!
Spenny, how mad would you be if they took off one of the defensive tackles off the board?
I'd be upset.
Jervon Dexter. What if they went Jervon
And I would not
Dexter?
be surprised.
They got it.
We generally might lose Spencer
Because they're not getting a linebacker. We know that. They're not drafting a linebacker. They just spent $80 million on linebackers.
Do you know what they could actually do is
Darnell Washington.
An offensive line, maybe kind of build that up more.
Yeah.
Osiris Torrance, I think maybe that's like a...
What a drop.
Osiris Torrance.
Yeah, imagine the Bears fall with
Osiris Torrance would make sense.
Yeah.
They need to build their line. I could see them going defensive line here too as well, though, because they need to build both lines. They need everything.
The pick is in. The pick is in.
Tell us.
I don't want to.
I want to see it.
I want to see Spencer's.
I want to see it happen.
I want you all to see Spencer's live reaction with this.
I want to see it happen. I'm gonna say it's.
The stream's delayed anyway, so you can get the pick before you guys.
I'm gonna say it's.
Spencer
Osiris
doesn't have it
Torrance.
right now, and we might lose Spencer.
I'm gonna say it's Osiris Torrance. I wanted Osiris Torrance for the Lions, but if he goes here to the Bears, I'm not gonna be mad.
Go Darnell Wright and then Osiris Torrance. That would be pretty beastly.
That would be pretty beastly. That would just
That's,
provide them so much.
Did they have Darnell Wright?
Yeah, that was their first round
They
pick.
got Darnell Wright in the first round.
They got to protect Justin Fields.
They got to protect Justin Fields. They like to run the ball.
Or
That's
they
who
want
you
to
had
get
me.
to Jared
I
Goff.
thought they had another pick in the second, and they went Darnell Washington. and I was like, man.
Darnell Wright, tackle out of Tennessee.
All right, yeah, that was okay.
Darnell Washington would be a fit.
Darnell Washington would be a good fit too. Well, they got Komet, so.
But he's the best blocking tight end left in the draft.
Yeah. You don't take a blocking tight end in the second round, though. I guess he's got higher upside than just a blocking tight end, but.
All right, Spenny, it's on commercial break. I just want to tell you.
Tell us.
I want to see.
All right.
All right, close your ears. Just tell us.
No, go reaction. Wait for his reaction.
Everyone in the chat figured it out myself.
I'm not even looking at the chat.
Everyone knows right here.
I'm not even looking at the chat because I know
we're all gonna just watch the Spencer reaction here.
So, I'm gonna say it's Osiris Torrance because I've been saying that for the past 2 days. After the Lions made their picks, I said it all on the show today. I put $1,000 on Osiris Torrance. I didn't actually do it. I said I would to go to the Lions because I think they need him.
I could see them going with like a Keely Ringo or a Tyree Stevenson.
Yeah.
Now that the Vikings got Jordan Addison and Green Bay's stacking up their
I
wide
can
receivers.
see him going Keely Ringo as well. Yeah, that's a good take. I hope it's not Osiris Torrance.
Yeah, I tried that.
Oh my god!
And now we're what? We're 2 picks away from the Detroit Lions.
2 picks away from Detroit.
Who do you
Lions.
want? Or I mean, I guess with on the board.
Well, if it's not Osiris Torrance, if he's still there, I'll take him. If not, Javon Dexter or Siaki Ika.
Yeah, I'm kind of right now. I'm kind of interior defender or a bust right here.
That's what you need.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I still can't get over the first 2 out of the 3 picks were offense. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I like Dexter a lot though. I like how he plays. I like his style of play. They watched him a lot. They saw him at. What are you smiling at me for?
I don't know.
They saw him play Florida. They went down and visited Florida. That's why I think Torrance.
They were at Florida
and Dexter
a lot this year
will
too.
be on there. What's going on with the TV?
You know who played in their backyard? You know who played in their backyard? I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, but the defensive end from Northwestern.
Yeah, double A.
Double A.
Yeah.
All right, we have to take the picks in.
Yeah, they already took one guy.
This is interesting. And JB, and I do want to kind of talk to you too about this too, because JB's got Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Still on the board.
They're not going Hendon Hooker here.
He said that would be
Bears,
the. I'm talking about Detroit Lions at 55.
That's a possibility. But
he was in Detroit on top 30.
The Bears selection. Shot out. Oh, Devin Hester. GOAT. Literally GOAT. Devin Hester's the man. I hate the Bears, but Devin Hester is fun to watch.
Best kick returner of all time right there.
I'm sorry, Izzy or Spencer.
You want to announce it, Booner?
Fuck!
Gervonta
Dexter to the Chicago Bears. And Spenny, he lost his defensive tackle. It's off the board. I don't know what to say right now.
Oh, I hate the Bears so fucking much. I hate the Bears so much. What?
All right.
Oh my God, dude. That is so terrible. Oh my God. Why? Why the Bears? It sucks that he went before the Lions because I wanted him on the Lions really bad. But him going to the Bears, that's a slap and a slap. Lions traded?
Yeah.
Fucking.
The Detroit Lions have traded. The Detroit Lions traded pick 55 and pick 194 to Kansas City, and we are getting back pick 63, 122, and 145. It looks like, or 249.
I like it.
So they got through. We got basically 2 extra picks, 122 and 249, and we gave up 55 and 194. So we just added another pick into the draft. Basically, the one you gave up to kind of move up.
I like 122. I wanted to get into that spot.
Here comes.
I like this. They basically just re-upped on all the extra picks they gave up when they moved up in the draft earlier. Like just now when they moved up to grab Branch, they gave up, I think it was 1 something. They grabbed that another one from Casey just now. And they gave up another 81 last night. I think that's actually this is a slick move by Brad Holmes. Obviously, I feel like Spinny, you were right on track with Gervonta Dexter because that trade out happened right after his selection.
Because he went.
Yep.
And he wasn't there, so they couldn't take him because they watched every single home game he played. He was a defensive tackle. He was an electric player. He did everything you want. The person you want next to Aleem Neal. Obviously, I wanted Jalen Carter. I'm not saying I didn't want Jalen Carter. He was my pick. They didn't get him. All right, I can accept it. Different things happen. He was the guy they wanted. You put him next to Aleem McNeil. I love Isaiah Bucks. I love John Kaminsky. Those are situational players. He would have been a guy you could put next to Aleem McNeil, would help in the run game massively. Beating, if they single team him, if they're one-on-one with him, he is beating that. Oh, man. And they traded back because he went 2 picks before him. They were going to take him.
Stop it. Get some help.
In my eyes, too, I think this was a phenomenal move by the Bears. They're building the line the right way, which is actually scary because the Bears are doing the right things. Obviously, the Bears, we're always going to be Lions fans here. They're doing things the right way, though, which is scary if they can build an offensive and defensive line around Justin Fields.
Yeah. Rita in the Woodward Sports chat. Spence, it ain't that serious. He mid. Okay, who are you getting for defensive tackle now? Going into this draft, the #1 glaring hole on the Detroit Lions was defensive fucking tackle, and they haven't taken one, and now who do you got left on the board? Is Siaki Ika still there? Yeah. Maybe he's the pick. I like him too. He was the first one when I did a deep dive into defensive tackles. He was the first person I watched. He is a mammoth of a human being. But
we're watching the Spencer just breaking down stream right now. That's what this has turned into. He's having a mental breakdown.
I'm all right.
Spenny, can I just try and make you feel a little better?
No. Yes.
I really think about it because I think you I've talked with you all the time about this stuff. Brad Holmes, what has he done the last 2 years? He's found guys late in the draft. He just added another. We didn't have a 3rd or a 4th round pick. We still don't have a third, so I can't get you excited on that. But he just added a 4th-round pick now.
Okay.
And he still has a 2nd-round pick. He has the last pick in the 2nd round.
Yes.
And I understand that your guy at defensive tackle is gone.
He is.
But there are a ton of defensive
He was
tackles.
like my 3rd guy at defensive tackle.
I know.
He said, that's what it is. Your guy at defensive tackle. No, the Lions needed a defensive tackle. He was 3rd on my big board for defensive tackles, and they couldn't even get him. So I understand. Disclaimer, Brad Holmes forgot more about football than I've ever known in my entire life. So I'm sure he will get something somewhere to fill that gap. If it is Levi Onwuzurike, pray to God. I mean, he was back at voluntary workouts. It's not practice, but it's something. He was there with the team. He was exercising with the team. When he played, he was good. When he played, I loved it. If he can get back out there, that is an extra 2nd-round pick. JB, I don't want to hear those reactions from you. What? Say it to my face.
I don't even want to say it, man.
Say it.
I don't want to say it. It's not a guy that the Lions were looking for, but it was definitely an idea floating out there that the Chiefs were going to take a very position to help out Patrick Mahomes. So if that helps you anymore, guide you somewhere to who they take.
Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt to the Chiefs? That's fucking dangerous.
That is not who it was.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that buildup was insane.
Who was it? JB said.
Dude, should I say it or should I just wait for the thing?
You could say. I'm sure the chat. We're a little behind here on our end.
I was gonna say it's showing up on my phone. Hyatt. It's Hyatt.
Okay.
Oh, you're seeing Hyatt? Oh, I was seeing someone different.
Yeah, who were you seeing?
Rashee Rice. I guess we really have to wait for the pick.
Rashee Rice?
Out of SMU.
Yeah,
but I
receiver out of SMU.
I could be completely wrong. It looks that's who
People are saying it's Rice.
It's Rice. Okay, yeah. So Rice is huge.
Not Hyatt.
We
Hyatt.
expected though the Chiefs to add a weapon, so they needed to add a weapon.
Now. I'd love Hyatt. I'd love
Hyatt's
Jalen
falling.
Hyatt.
I mean, we only have 8 more picks until the last pick of the round, and that's the Detroit Lions. That's where they traded back 263, and that's where we're sitting at. So, I mean, if Hyatt falls to there and they do that, I'm interested to see if they add to this defensive line. I want to see what Spenny has to think on that. Like,
they need to. They need to.
That is a must.
That is a must. I saw someone in the Woodward Sports chat say defensive line is not an issue. What? What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Yeah, interior defensive line.
Yeah.
You need someone to put next to Lee McNeil. Like I said, if Levi Onwuzurike is back and healthy, that's what it is. Isaiah Buggs, I like him. He is a depth player. Josh Pascal, John Kaminsky, I like them. They are not 3-down players. They're situational players. Those are the NASCAR package that we all love, that was beautiful. That's where you put them in. You need another guy in there that can stop the run and play on passing downs. And they don't have that right now.
I mean, the best available. Trenton Simpson's still available. Drew Sanders.
No, what? No,
I'm just naming. I'm reading it off the list here.
Right.
I mean, these are guys that are dropping that were high second-round picks that are all. I mean, this draft has just been insane. Like, it has been wild. The Lions have made, 4 trades now?
Okay, here's the trade details for the Lions. The Lions got the 63rd overall pick, the 122nd overall pick, and the 249th overall pick. And the Chiefs got 55 and 194. So that's a good trade.
And the Bears did just trade up to 56 with the Jaguars. I just saw that come in as well up on the screen. So they moved up too. I'm interested to see who the Bears. We have the NFC North here. A ton of trades with the NFC North, like the Packers trade with the Lions. The Bears are trading up. The Lions have traded twice.
Ali Joni said if they take Noah Sewell at 63, I'm breaking my phone. They're not taking Noah Sewell at 63. I guarantee they are not doing it.
He's not off the. I mean, I saw projections of him going a little bit later to where we can get him in later rounds.
Listen, I love
that.
Penei.
Would be a little bit of a reach.
I love Penei. I love the, family theme. Those guys come from the same household, so he's got that same dog in him. He makes good plays. They're not taking Noah Sewell. They got Noah Sewell at home, and his name's Malcolm Rodriguez.
That's one of the guys Terry Foster mentioned as a dream pick for Brad Holmes.
Noah Sewell?
Yeah, Noah Sewell paired with Will Anderson Jr. I don't know if this changes now that they have Jack.
I have
Jack
seen
Campbell.
that a ton. I've seen that a ton on mocks before the draft, and I heard something similar there. Was Noah Sewell is a guy that the Lions like
a dream pick, not in the second round.
They did think that he that he would fit, obviously with his brother in Detroit, but not in the second round. I saw a couple rounds later, but that is a dream fit that I've seen, like Broder said there, that they've talked about.
I get pairing up the brothers there with the Sewell thing, but adding another linebacker to a team that just re-signed Alex Anzalone, you have Malcolm Rodriguez, and you just got Jack Campbell. I think that's a horrible idea if they go Noah Sewell in the second.
Yes, I agree. Noah Sewell is not a second-round player. I respect his game. I respect what he's doing, but I can't think the Lions are going to do that there, especially like you said after just getting Jack Campbell in the first round, which I'm cool with. I like Jack Campbell. I think he's going to be a very good player. But you don't do that. Okay. Rashee Rice, wide receiver, SMU, goes to the Chiefs. That's just another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. And speaking of which, what a coincidence. Perfect timing. Patrick Mahomes gets his newest weapon in the second round. How do you feel about that over Jalen Hyatt?
That's the tough one. How is Jalen Hyatt still on the board?
I don't know.
I like Rashee Rice. I really do. I think he's one of the more underrated wide receiver prospects in this draft. I think he'll just be another toy that Patrick Mahomes turns into something. I would have preferred Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt's the type of guy that I think could really thrive with Patrick Mahomes, but I think Rashee Rice can too. The rich just keep getting richer. Doesn't matter what happens, Patrick Mahomes will still lead the Chiefs to Super Bowls and MVPs. I love it.
Okay, all right, relax. How many more does he get, really? He's so good. He's such a good player.
I feel
it's
bad.
Insane.
That's like, I'm known as like the Patrick Mahomes slappy here, but it's like it's not. I'll admit it's very easy to be a Patrick Mahomes slappy.
It is. He is going to be the best quarterback of all time.
Absolutely. The Chicago Bears are picking
Chicago
right
Bears
now.
select Tyreek Stevenson, cornerback, Miami.
I think that's it.
That's a good pick.
I mean, they've got a couple of young corners.
Before Kelly Ringo.
Yeah,
Kelly Ringo at one point, let me remind you, was the number one corner in this draft.
At one point, Kelly Ringo was projected to be drafted before Devon Witherspoon.
That before everyone, yeah.
I seen it. And now he's probably going to be a third-round pick. Tyreek Stevenson. I mean, the Chicago Bears, we all talk about how Justin Fields was a guy who played in a lot of ways on a one-man offense, but the defense was pitiful last year.
Yes, it was very
Once
bad.
they got rid of Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn, the defense was one of the worst I've ever seen. And the Bears have addressed that at the corner position. They already have Jalen Johnson and then another rookie from last year. I forgot. His name escapes me at this point. But you can never have too many. I like the pick for them.
Pontiac Nut in the Woodward Sports chat. The Bears just got my corner. Broder, I saw you react to that. You wanted that dog out of the U?
I like Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah.
After all the corners that have fallen or that have been taken thus far, he was my favorite. I like Julius Brents too, but Tyreek was my guy.
Yeah, it's an easy pick to like. It is an easy pick to like. It fills what the Bears needs. It is a guy that can do a lot of different things. He's fast. He's good in man coverage, and he lays the boom. So, all right, Giants pick is in. I can't believe Gervon Dexter went. I'm still in shock.
It's funny you mentioned Gervon Dexter. That's a damn good two picks for the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
They're the type of guys that can reshape their defense overnight. I'm not saying that they're going to instantly be that much better because of them, but they are two pieces that could end up being starters, maybe Pro Bowlers when it's all said and done.
Both of them are starting.
And their needs.
And the Giants take John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz, the center out of Minnesota.
John Michael Schmitz.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz. His name might be my name too.
Who the hell is that dude? Like something that was like made up.
It's a fairy tale name.
It's a fairy tale name.
That's a Dr. Seuss ass name.
John Michael.
Yeah. Bro eats green eggs and ham. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's fine. Dallas is up next.
Could a John Michael Schmitz be a wide receiver at Miami?
Honestly, yeah. He could be a slot guy. He could be a slot guy for sure. Just a mean slot guy, gets the gritty first downs.
I mean, it's like John Michael Schmitz, center, Minnesota. It almost seems like the name was meant for the player.
Yeah. No, as much as I'm making fun of his name because it sounds like a fairy tale, it's a good pick.
It's a good pick for the Giants. They just need to. They signed Daniel Jones.
He obviously led Muhammad Ibrahim to do a lot of what he did.
That's a great point.
He is a great center. The Big Ten is known for their offensive linemen. Minnesota had a pretty good offensive line, especially when running the ball. And a majority of your running blocking scheme is centered around your center.
Absolutely. And like I said, all jokes aside, John Michael Schmitz, I would say he was probably the best center prospect coming out in this draft.
All right, Cowboys are on the board. I bet they take Drew Sanders.
Wow.
I bet they take Drew Sanders.
Wow. No.
Just him and Micah Parsons.
I
like
know.
Ebony and Ivory, just the same player, but he's not as good as Micah Parsons.
I was
but
about to say.
Very similar rap sheet. Could both play linebacker, can both rush end.
Yeah, no. I'm almost scared.
The Cowboys, they can do anything they want.
They can do anything
They have such a good team. Other than Dak, Dakota Rain.
Dakota.
In the cold Dakota rain.
Depending on who the Cowboys pick, I'm curious to see who they select.
I can't believe Mike McCarthy still has a job.
I can't believe Mike McCarthy still has a job either. Depending on who they pick, I mean, I wouldn't even say that this makes that big of a difference.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are a threat. We can laugh all we want.
The Cowboys are
Luke Schoonmaker.
That makes a lot of sense.
They missed on Dalton Kincaid.
Yes.
I know that's someone that they wanted.
They missed on Dalton Kincaid, on Sam Laporta. Good old Sam Laporta. And Michael Mayer. They get Luke Schoonmaker. Obviously, all right, you can have the floor. But they had to replace Dalton Schultz. I like Dalton Schultz a lot. I had him in fantasy quite a few years. But you're the Michigan guy.
Yes.
You're wearing the maize and blue flannel.
I am wearing the maize and blue flannel.
Tell me about Luke Schoonmaker.
Luke Schoonmaker is that big body tight end who gets open, is a great receiver, great blocker. I wouldn't say that he's a blue chip prospect, but he really came on last year.
Don't say that.
No, I'm not going to say he's a blue chip prospect. I'm just saying that he is one of those guys that could turn out to sneakily be one of the better tight ends in this draft.
He's good.
I'll tell you what. It wouldn't shock me at all, and this is me, I don't want to say being a hot take artist. Who finished his rookie season with more receiving yards, Luke Schoonmaker or Sam Laporta?
Oh.
That's a question, though.
No, Sam Laporta.
You think so?
Yeah, the other tight ends on Dallas's roster are pretty good.
That's fair.
Ferguson, I like Ferguson, and I can't remember their third string tight end's name. But because I had Dalton Schultz and he got injured, so I was switching between those guys in fantasy. But Ferguson's pretty good, so he's probably going to start. But they could mold him into something. That is a great pick, and I think a great fit for a guy like Luke Schoonmaker. I mean, last year was his first year as a starter. Remember, this was supposed to be the year where Eric All took that next step and was that potential Mackey Award candidate tight end, but it actually ended up being Luke Schoonmaker. He wasn't a Mackey Award contender, but he was damn good. Yeah,
he made himself a lot of money with this season, so I'm very, very happy for him. Another Wolverine goes in the draft after Maz. Oh my God, Mozzie Smith went first round of the Cowboys too.
Yeah,
the wheels are turning in real time.
Dallas likes Michigan guys.
Dallas likes Michigan guys, especially Michigan guys that can play and fill needs. I think the Cowboys are going to be.
The Cowboys are going to be good, but it's on Dak. It's Dak Prescott, so you can only expect so much out of him.
You can only expect so much.
But the rest, if they had another quarterback, I'm not going to say any other quarterback because that's disrespectful even to Dak Prescott. But if they had an above average quarterback instead of Dak Prescott, they would be Super Bowl contenders easily.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I know we're not doing cowboy, like Woodward Sports Cowboy Edition.
Woodward Dallas.
Woodward Dallas.
Come on down and get some churros.
Whatever their street is.
Everything's bigger at Woodward.
But I could see Dak Prescott having a bounce back regular season, and then in the playoffs, them going down to the divisional round.
Yeah.
Because he's shown that he can do that before, and I think that, of course, Luke Schoonmaker is going to be another third
Cody
down.
Engel in the Woodward Sports chat puts it eloquently.
Yes.
The Cowboys are a threat until the playoffs.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
They always find a way to F it up in the playoffs, basically ever since the mid-'90s.
Who do the Bills go here?
The Bills.
I'm thinking Trenton Simpson.
That's Trenton Simpson.
Incorrect? You already know?
Oh, you already know? Come on, JB, because I was just about to talk myself into that. They lost Tremaine Edmonds.
They lost Tremaine Edmonds. That would be a good off-ball linebacker to fill that void. Obviously, they still have Matt Milano, who is probably the most underrated linebacker in the NFL.
Matt Milano may have even been...
good cookies, too. Milano,
great cookies. But Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, they were a fantastic duo. I think Tremaine Edmonds got more of the spotlight, but Matt Milano was that under-the-radar guy. But he was a tackling machine.
He was. He was a
MVP
monster.
of that defense.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes, or at least the captain. The Buffalo Bills here. You know what, JB? I'm going to wait until they...
Yeah. JB.
Yeah, just wait.
Don't shit on my takes like that. All right, from the booth. Wrong. I'm sorry, man. Sorry I'm not looking at my phone. No, I appreciate it.
Right after I was about to be talked into it.
I know. I was trying to do it.
Trent Simpson, is
'Cause
he
it's
going to go all
easy.
the way to the 3rd round? Oh
There's no way.
You don't think? He's number 1 on Mel Kiper's
Yeah,
best
oh,
available.
no
And
doubt.
Number 2 is Drew Sanders.
They could go Drew Sanders here too. Or Double A. Oh,
Double
man.
A. Double A. Added to.
If we can get if Double A goes here, I'm. Ooh.
Is that who you want for the
Yeah.
Lions?
Yes.
No, I like Double A. He's a very versatile.
He's a
edge
bigger.
rusher.
Josh Pascal. He's a John Kaminsky, but a little bit fatter. Like it's.
Yeah, double A. You know what? I wouldn't mind Double A at 60.
Is Jalen Hyatt still on the board?
Jalen Hyatt is still on the board.
Do you think the
to the Bills?
I know they got to pay Stephon Diggs soon, and they haven't done it yet, so they might.
They're gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him for sure.
Yeah, Josh Allen really took off when Steph Diggs got there.
Yeah.
So that he needs.
And Steph Diggs did too. I mean, he was great in Minnesota, but he's top 5 great.
He was
since
never
he got to
like
Buffalo.
elite
Yes.
in Minnesota. He
Yes.
was more known for that miracle in Minnesota, plus
All right.
also being like a pretty good, like a good.
Dude,
receiver.
that is one of the best game endings I've ever seen. First of all, who are they playing? Again, was it the Saints?
They're playing the Saints.
Yeah. The tackle. Why? What are you doing there?
It was Marcus. Wasn't Marcus Williams? I believe. Yes, it was Marcus Williams.
The biggest numbskull attempt in the history of the NFL. Blows that. Steph Diggs takes it to the end zone when he rips the helmet off.
Oh yeah, just like
that's that's
and then
legendary.
people like hug him from behind. One of the most legendary moments.
The Minneapolis Miracle.
Minneapolis
and Case
Miracle.
Keenum throwing it to him.
Case Keenum throwing it, and Steph Diggs. He almost looked surprised, like, "Wait a minute, I'm not down. I got open field.
'cause
Holy
he
shit!"
should have been tackled, and it would have been game over.
Brace yourself.
Oh, Broder said, "Brace yourself." Osiris Torrance. Oh man. We almost forgot about Osiris Torrance. I mean, I know Spenny, you obviously didn't, but wow. At 58 or 59.
Hey, Flannel, I think we'll have to go to you for this next pick because I also know the next pick as well.
You also know who the next pick is.
Yes,
Oh my goodness.
Of course you do, JB.
JB knows everything.
JB's the hacker in the 90s movie.
The all-knowing.
So if you're saying we got to go to you, what do you think that means?
God.
DJ Turner?
Oh, wait a minute.
Or Jake Moody?
It's not Jake Moody.
It's not Jake Moody. It's going to be DJ Turner.
I'll tell you what, Spenny, you're onto something because I was thinking, like, why would it? Yeah, Cincinnati, that would be a good pick. 2 years in a row, getting a secondary Michigan man. They got Dax Hill last year.
All right.
I obviously don't know if that's the case, but
It's all right. It's all right.
Figure it out.
It's all right.
You're still mourning over Osiris.
Yeah. No, Ryan, I don't want every player to the Lions. The 2 players, you can go watch heavyweights after this. The 2 players I wanted to go to the Lions today are Osiris Torrance and Javon Dexter. I literally said 2 Gators. Give them to me.
He mentioned it earlier today on BDE as well when we were talking about defensive tackle prospects. I mentioned Keanu Benton, and you brought up Gervon Dexter.
Yes.
And I saw you were and the Bears got him.
It's all right. It's all right.
Damn, the Bears got him.
Yeah,
and
I
they
know.
really needed him too.
Yeah, they did.
But so did the Lions.
So did the Lions.
DJ Turner. DJ
Turner goes to the Bengals. That's a good pick for the Bengals. He was dreaming of an interception.
DJ Turner.
DJ Turner. He was wishing for a burner. Ran a 4.340.
Ran a 4.2640.
That's- yeah.
Ran the fastest 40 at the combine.
How do you feel about DJ Turner of the Bengals?
I think that's a good pick. They got DJ Turner and they got Miles Murphy. I mean, DJ Turner was a guy, we will all admit, I'll admit it as a Michigan fan, he didn't really stand out too much on the Michigan secondary. Will Johnson is the guy who's really going to be the highest pick. I mean, coming when he gets drafted.
He's a lockdown guy.
I said.
There it is, DJ Turner. We got the graphic up there.
But yeah, DJ Turner, he's obviously proved a lot at the combine. What you worry about with him is that the tape is not as impressive as sort of being a workout warrior at the combine. But I like him a lot. I think that with the Cincinnati Bengals and that secondary, I think he's a guy that can thrive. I don't know if he's going to be expected to start right away, reunite him with his old teammate Dax Hill. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
They shored up their defense.
DJ Turner.
I mean,
he really got the burners.
He really does got the
4.2640. Now he's playing for the Bengals. Shout out to Dante151 in the Woodward Sports chat. Drop the super chat. He said, "Do you think Teddy Bridgewater told the Lions, if you want me to be the backup, don't draft a QB? I think that's why they've been trading out of picks, not wanting to pick Hooker." Dante 151. Solo Cammy JB. Teddy Bridgewater is not making demands from anyone. Teddy Bridgewater is not one to walk into an interview for a job and say, if you want me, don't take a quarterback. Stop. All right. I appreciate you, Dante. You're in the chat all the time. Respect. But no. And Brad Holmes ain't going for that. If it wasn't Teddy Bridgewater, if it was somebody legit, Brad Holmes ain't going for that. He ain't got time for that.
Remember when Teddy Bridgewater had a Pro Bowl while throwing for 14 touchdown passes with the Vikings? That guy can't make demands.
Yeah.
No.
Easy, what do you think the Lions are doing here? 63, 2 picks away.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. No one knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
No one knows what they're doing. But I did have a coming to in the back just now, thinking on the draft.
An epiphany.
Epiphany. There you go.
Epiphany. And an anemone.
With a bitch named Tiffany.
What was named Tiffany?
The Detroit Lions, arguably, considering outside maybe the Juju, who's the guy who went just before Branch? Julia something? Bench
Brents,
or something?
Julius Brents, yeah.
Arguably got the number 1 linebacker and safety in the 2023 draft class.
Hey,
you know what? If you're trying to make me feel better, it works.
You like that? Does that sound good?
Shout out to Kool-Aid Kid in the Woodward Sports chat. He said, Turdy Bridge Pounder.
Wow.
I'm always here for those. You should have went with Turdy Bridge Pooper, because doo-doo shit poopster is my favorite thing ever. When I saw that on Twitter once, I said all the time.
Great.
That is
nickname.
beautiful. Doo-doo shit poopster. Like, it's just so perfect. Pick is in for the Jaguars.
Okay.
What do the Jaguars need?
I'd go interior offensive line, to be honest with you. I'd want to protect the star that's become Trevor Lawrence, or Trevor Lawrence that's become a star, I should say.
Yeah.
What do you think of the that statement, though, Spinny? Did the Lions get the number 1 linebacker and safety in this year's draft class?
Yeah, cool. I'm okay with that. I like those picks. I like Brian Branch. It's a steal.
For sure. That's a steal.
But what about this statement? The Lions have made 4 picks so far in the NFL draft and haven't taken a defensive tackle. How do you feel about that statement?
And at this point, is there really anyone that you want that bad?
Double A.
Yeah, I mean, double A.
But not like he wasn't my list of guys that I wanted to the Lions. Defensive tackle. My top 3.
Gone?
Yeah, I mean.
Siaki's still there.
That's
your
boy.
What I'd be okay with.
It's my boy. I did a deep dive on him, but like literally my top 3. Pause. Big pause.
Boing. Wow. I wish I had that like.
The three people that were my top for defensive tackle were Jalen Carter, Mozzie Smith, and Javonte Dexter.
And the Lions were so close.
I got to be honest with you guys too. I watched a little bit of the Javonte Dexter highlights, like after briefly after the pick. Don't hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate it for the Bears. He looks like a fucking menace.
Bro,
he's an athlete.
Yes.
He makes plays on the ball when it's available to.
Yes, he does.
And he's only going to grow within the NFL system. I'm not talking about just like skill-wise.
Say it again.
I'm talking about he's going to get thick and stronger. Like it's just like.
Say it again.
That's a piece that makes me a little bit nervous. Although the Detroit Lions do have a great offensive line. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'm not
mad
about it for that fact. But
he looks scary.
He is a great player.
Javonte Dexter definitely looks fucking terrifying.
To the Bears. I mean, think about what the Bears have done. And I'm not saying that we should be fearing the Bears or anything right now. But they got T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds in free agency for the linebacking.
Yeah.
For the linebacker, they got the guy from Miami. Shoot, his name escapes me. Tyreek Stevenson, at the corner. And then they got Gervon Dexter as a defensive lineman. They're really shoring up that defense. I'm not saying that it's overnight going to be great or anything, but it's going to be much improved. And all they need is a better defense.
The pick is in for the Jags, but also the Texans have traded up with the Eagles.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm very curious to see. Now, how about this? Torrance hasn't gotten selected either, right?
No. He has.
Am I mistaken?
Yeah.
He did. Where'd he go?
Bills.
Nice.
No, not nice.
Well, for them.
Shout out to said LK 2009 in the Woodward Sports chat. He says, at the end of the day, we all said the Lions could pick anyone in this draft because they have a solid roster, but damn, LOL.
That's a great way to put it.
That is a great way to put it. The Lions traded out.
Jaguars take tight end Brenton Strange from Penn State, by the way.
Brenton Strange. Tame some strange. But, tame the strange. But Lions were at 63, right?
Yeah.
They traded with Denver. Do we have any update on what we got?
I'm still looking for it right now, but I'll let you guys know
Dude,
as
what
soon
is
as I get it.
easy?
What?
We call bullshit on trades. How many trades have the Lions made already in this draft?
That's a good question.
I can't even keep
I
up.
told you. Or the first round. I don't know if it's going to continue on.
That's at least 4.
I think a lot of the movement, at least maybe and from Brad Holmes' perspective, a lot of movement we've been able to witness is like confirms a little bit of the weakness of this year's draft class.
Denver might get Jalen Hyatt.
Oh,
It's kind of wild that he's still on the board. What are the knocks on him? What are the cons on Jalen Hyatt?
Tennessee's offense.
yeah, that's
that would make
mainly
sense.
Okay.
mainly it. The
So
Texans
the
because-
Lions traded with the Denver Broncos. This is from our Detroit Lions beat writer, Gabrielle D. Phillips. The Lions traded 63 and 183 to the Broncos, and in return got 68 and 139.
Okay.
So that's a good trade. They moved up 50 spots, moved back 5. Mm-hmm. That's a good trade. It's a good trade, but now we just got to wait in suspense. Juice Scruggs, guard, Penn State. 2 Penn State. Nittany Lions.
Nittany Lions back
Off the board in a row.
Well, they got their quarterback, their edge rusher. They already had Laramie Tunsil, and now they get Juice Scruggs. I mean, your prediction of the Texans, I do not think that there's any way that they go above the Jaguars.
I'm telling
but
you, man.
They will win at the very least 7 games.
I think it's going to be 9 or 10.
9 or it could be.
I think it's going to be 9 or 10. They made good free agent signings.
They did.
And they won. I don't give a shit what Mel Kiper says. Hey, Mel Kiper. JB, solo cam me real quick. Hey, Mel Kiper. I don't give a fuck what you say. The Texans are not a loser. He had the Texans as the second biggest loser after they got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. That is 2 top 7, 8 prospects in this draft. That's a loser to you?
Is it outside the realm of possibility that C.J. Stroud ends up being the best quarterback from this draft?
No, it's not.
Possible.
It is very
I've been
possible.
saying that, man.
And Will Anderson is the number 1 prospect.
Will Anderson was number 1 on my big board.
Yes.
C.J. Stroud is Easy's number 1 quarterback in this draft.
Yep.
You're telling me the Houston Texans got both of them, and they're the biggest loser?
Yeah, that was
He's
wild.
just pissed because little Will Levis didn't go until the second round. That was his number 1 quarterback. But guess what?
Yeah.
No GM in the NFL agreed with you.
Absolutely. They made those picks at quarterback and edge rusher with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, given the fact that they already locked up Laramie Tunsil.
No,
that
Steve.
are the 3 building blocks of a team.
Steve O'Baby said Spencer versus Mel Kiper in a boxing match. He doesn't want the smoke. I
No,
guarantee it.
Doesn't want smoke. Confirmed.
Doesn't want
got
the
that.
smoke.
Confirmed.
Ooh, the
All right, Broncos
making
are making the pick. DeMarcus Ware making the pick. Fresh suit, too. I like that jacket. Detroit Lions traded to the 63rd pick to Denver. All right.
Curious to see what.
What if they get Hendon Hooker?
Oh my God! After they just signed Marvin Mims.
Marvin Mims.
I like Marvin Mims a lot.
Over Jalen Hyatt?
Not over Jalen Hyatt, but that is surprising. But Marvin Mims is not someone that you should sleep on.
No. He's
yeah.
a good receiver for sure. For sure.
He's smaller, but to me,
He makes plays.
He makes big plays. He's one of
Yeah.
those guys that consistently is a leader in the nation in yards per catch. But then again, so was Jalen Hyatt last
Does
year.
that mean they're trading Judy, though? They just drafted a slot guy.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know though. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, he's had some.
You don't draft a slot guy in the second round.
We got a super chat.
We got a super chat?
Jacob Strand in the Woodward Sports chat says, if Detroit gets Sewell like I've been calling for, I can be on a show. What?
Well, probably not. But
Oh, Noah's.
No,
It's also
no
not
run
gonna
linebackers, though. Off-ball linebackers? Kind of weird. Like, we could say that our boy Campbell is the number 1 linebacker in the draft class because he's the only linebacker that's been drafted in this draft class?
yeah, that's
In terms of
pretty
off-ball
wild.
linebackers? Isn't that weird?
pretty wild.
And that's I specifically thought this was a deep linebacking class. I mean, I'm not alone either. I listen to plenty of draft pundits, like gather our information.
Lions
Like
fans.
Drew Sanders was up there. Trenton Simpson was a guy. Like this kind of do they suck or do teams just know they can get them later? Like what's going on?
Think about this, man. Jack Campbell was picked number 18 by the Lions, as we all know and have all had time to digest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trenton Simpson and Drew Sanders aren't going to go till the 3rd round at the earliest.
At the
What the
earliest.
fu- is there, is
I
the,
bet Philly takes one of them.
is the
think so?
drop
I
off
bet
from
Philly
talent
takes Trenton
that
Simpson.
far
I don't
between
think so.
Campbell and those? I don't think so
at
either.
all.
Philly's got back-to-back picks. They're definitely taking one of those linebackers.
You'd think.
Yeah, they did. They lost
1,000%.
T.J. Edwards, and I think they lost another guy too.
Yeah.
in my back core, if I'm not mistaken. I could be
TJ
100%
Edwards
wrong.
was the big loss,
Yeah,
though.
TJ Edwards was a big loss on that.
Got the Bears picking right now. I mean, maybe the Bears could do more to solidify their defense. I mean, we'll see. They made a couple good picks back to back.
They wish.
To go along with Darnell Wright at number 10 overall, which was
No.
What?
Nothing.
Just say it.
People are in the chat talking.
What are they talking about?
They said it's double A.
Double A?
Oh my God! If they get double A,
well.
I swear to God, man.
Maybe Ryan Poles knows what he's doing.
Ryan Poles?
Nah. I mean, I do like double A.
Like, literally, you can't ask Easy anything about the Bears or their players.
I know.
To be fair, though, Jeff Eifert did fill in for you. I don't remember what was wrong. You were sick or something that day. And we both took the Bears to beat the Lions before the first away game. But I'm going to be honest with you about Ryan Poles. You guys know how I kind of like look at the linebacker position. I've been kind of open about how I think it's devalued in today's NFL. Now they're going to a lot more nickel packages. I mean, hell, the Detroit Lions only put 2 on the field at a time while they're starting the defense. They paid one linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds, almost $80 million.
A lot of money.
And they paid TJ Edwards, what, 10?
Yeah.
TJ Edwards was pretty cheap.
And beyond that, too, right? So, like, what, $90 million? How much did Roquan Smith, who was already on their team, get paid?
He got paid, what, $20 million a year?
Lions fans.
It's $2 more million they could have got arguably the best linebacker in the league in Roquan Smith. They could have kept Roquan Smith.
Not arguably.
Instead, they opted to make an investment in Tremaine Edmonds, which Spinny's high on.
I love Tremaine Edmonds.
I think there's still a lot to be seen. I'm not sold on Ryan Poles.
And that's fair. I'm saying more,
I do like Javon Dexter. That was a good pick.
Well, and that's the thing. I wasn't going to pound the table for Ryan Poles, but so far what they've done in this draft, I think it's impressive. I agree with you that even Spenny said that when we
the Bears.
When we saw Tremaine Edmonds' contract, it was like, Jesus, I wouldn't pay him that. But
it's like,
he's going to be a good player, though.
You give him that contract following a contract dispute with the guy who was arguably considered the best
Chicago
in the league.
finished number 2 in the division next year?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not buying the hype of them at all.
I mean, they only got to jump Green Bay. Minnesota.
I don't care. I mean, that's the biggest question mark for me next year is Minnesota. Because I'm just biased because I'm a Detroit Lions fan. How critical and disrespectful of them too. To be honest with you. Was 11 one-score games they won?
11 and 0 in one-score games, which will never happen again.
Never happen again. Not a chance.
Exactly. A little bit bogus there. I mean, yeah, maybe 2, maybe 3. I mean, I'm not necessarily sold on the Packers being awful either. Like, Jordan Love has been in the system now for 3 years. I think Watson's a promising prospect. I think I like what I saw out of Romeo Doubs as well. Like, I'm not necessarily counting Green Bay out either.
That I can actually agree with. I think this idea that they're just going to go 4-13 or 5-12 is a little bit. It's a little bit crazy. You got Aaron Jones too in the backfield, AJ Dillon on defense. They got pieces like Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary's coming back, Devondre Campbell, Jair Alexander. They've got some players.
So someone in the Woodward Sports chat requested that we update the remaining Lions picks. So the Lions have 68 overall, which is in the second round.
Nice.
They have 122 in the fourth round, 152 in the fifth round, 168 in the fifth round, and what was it, 132, 138? The one they traded for, I can't remember it. It's 130 something in the sixth round and 249 in the seventh round.
All these damn.
So they still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks left.
The Bears. Look what the Bears got. Zach Pickens.
Okay.
All right.
Over double A and Siaki. They went back-to-back defensive tackle. Huh?
They need him.
Huh. They do.
They do.
They do.
Did you guys?
6'3",
how high was he on your guys?
South Carolina.
Is that a name you guys remember hearing? Like top 10 defensive tackle prospects?
Maybe top 10, like the
maybe
end of
top,
top 10,
maybe top 10,
but not like.
I was lurking those defensive tackles. That's not a name I'm too familiar with at all. I'm telling you, this draft is wacky, man.
It's very wacky.
The boards, from the pundits to the GMs, have been far off. But it's also crazy too because boards just vary so differently between team to team. You know,
people are saying they like Pickens.
I mean, the Bears had a god awful defense. That was what was their downfall, and they've already gotten themselves. They have Chase Claypool, DJ Moore, and Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
That's a
good receiver.
That is a good receiving core, and Cole Kmet as the tight end.
Yeah.
They have some weapons, and now shoring up that defense. I like what the Bears are doing, if that makes sense.
I do too.
And Gervon Dexter is obviously, I know you're really high on him, and I think that was a good pick for them. Tyreek Stevenson. Darnell Wright. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my second best tackle, third best defensive tackle, and I would say sixth or seventh best cornerback.
Yeah, it's a deep cornerback draft, but
Very
there's
deep,
nothing.
very deep cornerback.
If you're a
draft.
top 10 corner in this draft, you're a player. And the Eagles, the pick is in, and the Eagles are obviously a team that have knocked this draft out of the park so far, and they're coming off of a season in which they made the Super Bowl. And
Denver has 67 too.
Denver has kind of curious.
Anybody surprised to see Hendon Hooker still chilling?
No.
Yeah, well, it's tough. Once you don't go in the first round, you can fall
never
at
know.
like precipitously. I mean, like Malik Willis did last year, for example.
Yeah.
You can. It wouldn't shock me at all if he's not picked till tomorrow. I can't believe I'm saying that, but
Richardson at 4.
Who goes to the Eagles?
How crazy was that for you, Sam?
I mean, I don't like it for them, but all the people that were telling me that Anthony Richardson was a good prospect, I had to give it up. He was the number 4 overall pick. We don't know that he's a good player yet, but I'm not just going to be like, I give people credit when credit is due.
No, I'm not looking for credit. I'm just saying, like, yeah.
Would you have taken Richardson or Levis? Because you need a quarterback.
Oh, Richardson.
God.
He hates both of them.
I do hate both of them.
Richardson, right?
He doesn't like Anthony Richardson.
If it was between Richardson and Levis, I'd take Levis.
Whoa!
Wow.
I don't like either of them.
Yeah.
But to me, and I like Hendon Hooker.
He's a better thrower.
I would say I don't know if I would take him at 4. That's a little bit of a reach, but to me, and
That's
I know
a
this
huge
is gonna break Lucas's heart because of his love for Clayton Tune. I don't have much use for any quarterback in this draft not named Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Hendon Hooker. I don't like Jake Hayner, guys like that, Aiden O'Connell, Stetson Bennett, who I despise, guys like that.
I hate Stetson Bennett too.
I hate Stetson Bennett too.
Even
just
like,
the hype is
dude got
ridiculous.
carried to 2 chips.
Like I see sometimes in the Woodward Sports chat in the shows are like, oh, this so and so team wants a winner. They should take Stetson Bennett.
Oh,
it's like,
get the
brother,
fuck out of
here.
that's
It's not a chance.
like. What about every single quarterback that ever played for the University of Alabama? Did they go on to become Super Bowl? Like, come on, what are we saying here?
I mean, a couple have.
But like, is that why you should have picked AJ McCarron? You know what I mean? Like, this idea.
That's exactly.
I hate more than anything in the world.
Your school identifies you as a player for the rest of your pro career.
Well, it's just this idea that like this name Alabama quarterback A, like Jacob Coker, I think won a national championship, but that guy's a winner. Yeah, you're a winner because you're the quarterback for Alabama.
Yeah.
People were saying like Baker Mayfield was a winner. No, you're the quarterback at Oklahoma who dominated.
Baker Mayfield's better than Stetson Bennett.
Well, obviously.
Also, how has Alabama never really had like a stud at the quarter? That makes.
They've had 3.
They didn't up until recently.
Their past 3 have been
How
studs.
crazy is that though? How like is that? Does Nick Saban not care? You know what?
Dude,
I know
that's what Nick Saban was getting. 6 defensive players drafted in the first round every year. Like their defenses were stupid.
To be fair,
and the playmakers.
Yeah,
he's like Bill Belichick.
Amari Cooper, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley.
Yep. Yeah.
On top of Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson, Mark Ingram.
But I'm just talking about like just pure recruiting. Like you're Alabama. How are they not landing these quarterbacks? Is it like Saban just wants like a robotic guy, like Belichick almost? He's plug and play.
But he has evolved. He has, to be fair, starting with Tua Tagovailoa. It went Tua Tagovailoa, phenomenal year. Mac Jones, he was second in the Heisman to Devontae Smith, his teammate.
Jalen Hurts before Tua.
But Jalen Hurts, he didn't. To be fair, he didn't really take off to Oklahoma.
Yeah, but he was still good his first year at. His 1 year of starting.
And that's
at
fair.
Alabama. He was very good.
And that's
the
fair,
national championship.
He was never the type of at least college quarterback and prospect that Tua, Mac Jones, and now Bryce Young. But yeah,
that's true.
Jalen Hurts was
the bridge guy.
He was the bridge guy. He wasn't as much of just a system guy as like an AJ McCarron or Greg McElroy or somebody like that.
McElroy.
He wasn't as refined as he became at Oklahoma, where he was. I mean, he was phenomenal.
He was a Heisman contender.
He was second in the Heisman.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley, say what you want about him, absolutely quarterback whisperer.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
For sure.
3 Heisman.
All right, Eagles pick is in. Man. Who do the Eagles go here?
They got
linebacker's not even on their knees.
Some stud.
Someone from
some
Georgia.
Stud that we just forgot about.
Someone from Georgia.
Someone from Georgia.
That'd be a safe bet.
Keely Ringo.
Ringo.
That's why everybody's saying Ringo watch.
They could.
That's not.
Everybody's
could.
saying
Darnell
Washington or Ringo.
Because didn't Bradbury play
Nicholas
a little bit more
Duncan said
zone?
Spenny about to be hurt next pick.
And Darius Slay's getting
A little
up
bit
there.
more man.
Please don't tell me it's double A.
Man zone split.
If this is cute, it's not Keely Ringo. There's no way.
It would be hilarious if it was Keely Ringo.
They really need to like make sure that Jalen Carter has all of his guys.
What are the top prospects are they missing?
Well, there's.
I'm talking about for Georgia.
Sidney
The
Brown?
top 4? Oh, no, those are
What about a
best
safety
linebackers.
like Sidney Brown or Chris Smith from Georgia?
Yeah.
I actually like Sidney Brown a lot as a player.
Sam, what do you think of Nolan Smith?
Oh, to the Eagles, I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Riley Moss. What if
Good.
the Lions drafted Riley Moss? White cornerback out of Iowa. I would break
that is
something.
not-
I would break
Neil would
something.
lose his ish.
I would lose my shit. What?
I would lose my shit too.
When's the last time a white cornerback started in the NFL?
Jason Sehorn.
Jason Sehorn.
Remember Jason Sehorn?
Yeah.
Damn, Sam, you were pretty quick to answer that, man.
Tyler Steen,
Tyler
tackle
Steen.
Alabama. Okay, that's fine.
I guess it's another case though, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
you're
you
good.
off. It's another case of they're trying to make their biggest strength. Oh, another on their next pick is in.
They
as
went back
well.
to back?
Went
Oh,
back to
that's
back.
a baller move.
Wow.
Good
Wait, who was
shit,
it?
Philly.
Who was it?
It was Tyler Steen.
Tyler
was their first
Steen.
pick.
That's
tackle.
good shit.
Sidney Brown. Hey,
Safety,
good-
Illinois.
Look at you.
They lost
Big
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Broder.
Yeah.
Call. Okay.
Look at Broder. How do you
Hey.
feel about that, Broder?
I like Sidney Brown too. He's very C.J. Gardner-Johnson like. He's that new replacement for them. He might be a starter day one.
When you see, and I'm not trying to like make excuses for Michigan playing
They need
Illinois
a safety
close.
too.
Illinois, when you look at this draft, you got Devon Witherspoon, Sidney Brown, and Jartavius Martin, and Chase Brown, who's going to go and who absolutely torched Michigan that game. That Illinois team was better than you think. They just had terrible quarterback play. Tommy DeVito.
Enough about Illinois. What about the Eagles?
The Eagles, yeah.
The Eagles are murdering this draft.
They're absolutely
Murdering this draft.
Man,
Howie
that shit
Roseman, he's got to be up there.
Nice.
Howie Roseman is a Hall of Fame GM if he retired today. And I would say Brett Veach is as well. I mean,
Whoa.
him and Brett Veach.
No, that's
After one Super Bowl?
borderline, but not a lot of people even get one. And he's done a lot of great things. He's made the Eagles contenders for, 10 years in a row now?
That's the thing. The Eagles, they won a Super Bowl during the Carson Wentz era,
Yeah.
which Nick Foles obviously took over and got him there.
Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate
was.
that year, though. He played ridiculously
He was
good
amazing,
football.
but he was never the
On a rookie
same.
deal, by the way.
They had to tear that down, and he rebuilt them into a team that made the Super Bowl last year,
Yeah.
and for most of the game had the lead.
Are we allowed to swear on the stream?
Yeah, dude.
We've all been
It's because he wasn't a pussy and took a quarterback in the second round.
When he already had one.
Fucking helped.
When he already had one.
Yeah.
That is a
On a big contract, too.
On a good contract.
Crazy. Oh, he also wasn't a pussy and he took Jalen Carter. Just saying.
Dude, it's
High
How many times have I
Roseman, confirmed big dick guy.
confirmed fucking whopper on him.
Just saying.
Got that hog.
Just saying.
I
All right,
know
Broncos pick
That's
is
all the
in.
swear words I'll use up. I apologize.
Bronco pick is in. No, but
If the Lions get another linebacker,
no, to be fair though, Easy, I agree with you to some extent about if I were the Lions to this day, I would still have stood pat and took Jalen Carter until I'm proven otherwise.
Yes.
100%.
oh, dude.
I will say this,
1000%.
and we said in the show earlier, is that it was also the perfect scenario to bring him into because of Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean. That was
And
like,
Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham.
yeah, but
He's
like
got good
specifically
vets there,
those
too.
two were noted as like the leaders in the locker room in 21 when they won the championship. It kind of kept Carter in check, and it was like then after their presence that he,
DeMarcus Ware
became the alpha in
doing
the
double
locker
duty.
room,
Yeah.
and he's going to the locker room with Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean.
And good vets.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs.
And good vets.
That defensive
a ton
line,
of-
dude.
That
ton of
defensive
good
line
vets.
is going to be stupid.
Drew Sanders.
Broncos take Drew Sanders.
Wow.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
That's a great
In the
pick.
third round?
That's a great.
That's a great pick. All right, double A.
Oh, the Lions are
pick.
on the
Double
clock.
A. Lions are on the clock. Give me double A.
That's a great pick to already really good defense.
To a really good defense.
He's
that-
versatile.
Yeah.
Spend Mill Flannel easy. What would be your worst case scenario here?
For the Lions
For
here?
the Lions.
Trenton Simpson.
Fuck.
Worst case scenario.
Well, no, not worst. Worst case would be somebody I haven't heard
Do you want the
of.
tweet from? It's not the pick. It's not the pick.
No.
but It's a little Adam Schefter teaser.
Is it Hendon Hooker?
He says Detroit traded into pick number 68. ... Lions could look at quarterback.
There's no way, right?
Is that a subtle hint to something?
There's.
Did Brad Holmes is here?
What if they
P
take?
word
What
drop?
if they take Hooker?
I can't pound the table.
JB, don't look at me.
No, seriously.
JB,
I'm not.
don't look at me.
You are. I can't even have my.
Oh my
political-
God!
No way.
No.
Holy
Stop.
shit!
No way. No way.
Holy
no
shit.
Way. No way.
Stop it. Stop it.
He's
Don't
doing
look-
that
Yo.
thing. JB's doing that thing. I
Let's go, baby!
whoa.
Let's go, boys!
Whoa.
Hey, right? Hey, after I didn't call him out by name, Bob's like, guys making stuff.
JB called him out 6 hours ago.
That's fine. That's fine. But I dropped the pussy in there. All right? I said
JB called
he's
him
not a
out
pussy.
6 hours ago.
That's all I'm saying.
Pop that pussy.
Brad Holmes just listens to the heavies, bro. I'm telling you.
Pick is in.
telling you.
All right.
Oh, God.
Let's go, boys.
Bro.
Let's
Ray Agnew,
go,
JB,
boys.
JB, how are you feeling right now?
Fired up.
Man,
This was the one pick you wanted?
I told boss we gonna get Hooker out there.
What?
You know who was the heavyweights? JB played Ray Agnew, and I was Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
And he told me we need to get Hooker, and he called me boss like that, and it was a little uncomfortable, but it's okay.
I definitely gotta get that cut, by the
Everything
way.
is in place.
Is it announced yet?
No, it's
Okay,
commercial.
cool.
Zombie.
I gotta
All right.
stand
Wow.
too.
Wow.
Wow, man.
Wow.
Hey, likes in the chat for the future. Now,
Yeah, slam
honestly,
the likes in the chat.
Slam the likes in the chat for the future. To be honest, too, I don't want to necessarily say it's the future because I did say today, Tag, I could also see him as a career backup, like Teddy Bridgewater, an example. But it's also the promising, fact that he could have been a first-round quarterback in this year's draft.
That's the thing. If he's Teddy Bridgewater, is it a successful pick? I would argue no.
The third round, if you're looking for, well, but
He's
it's not,
better than Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm not saying he's for sure a career
He is
backup.
better than Teddy Bridgewater.
Obviously, the hope is that he's going to be great, right? But you get the 50-50 of it.
Sure.
If he didn't
I'm
get
saying
hurt this
if it
year,
goes bad.
If he didn't get hurt this year, he was winning the
That's true.
Heisman and would have been a top 10 pick in the draft.
And if Teddy Bridgewater never got hurt, that devastating knee injury, he might have been a starter for the Vikings.
A starter.
Man, oh man, this could be our Jalen Hurts.
She put the her.
This could be our Jalen Hurts.
This is crazy. This is crazy right now. This is crazy right now.
Guys.
Chat, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like the picks.
You know what's a disgusting thought in my head, too?
Can you do a poll, JB?
What's the
do a
disgusting
chat
thought
poll.
in your head?
Do you like Hooker to the Lions, yes or no?
Hendon Hooker, as much as we call him the golf a bridge quarterback, he could even be a bridge quarterback himself if you don't want to pay golf.
The bridge to,
Yeah.
to like the bridge to the bridge.
Bridge to the bridge, yeah. Like
I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up, boys. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up.
thumbs up for what?
Right?
For Hendon Hooker. The chat is liking it.
Boys. What did we just say? We called out a trait of a very successful GM. One that Flannel Sam just said could go in a Hall of Fame
He will.
of GMs.
Yeah.
He said if he retired today.
Said if he retired today, he'd become a Hall of Fame GM. And now,
This is wild.
a similar trait may have been expressed in Detroit.
Oh, wait. Derek Dennis in the Woodward Sports chat. Detroit Lions. Gamblers and hookers.
Gamblers and hookers.
That's a good one.
Now I got to draft somebody with the last name Gambler. Yeah, I was watching tape on Devon Witherspoon. This is really random, by the way, because I'm talking about the last name Gambler. There's a young blood that he was just a weird last name. I thought I'd point that out.
Somebody needs to check on Neil.
Youngblood.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, can we send that man a VMix? Can we send that man a VMix?
That's a good question.
I'm going to ask him right now.
You gonna ask him right now? Good. Again, just calling out traits of successful GMs. And, Brad Holmes is following suit. That's all.
All right, the pick is.
All right, the pick is in. They're back at.
Oh my God.
Where are they? DC?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City. From my feet back home. Hey, yeah. I'm going to Kansas. Okay, it's not Kansas.
Wait, what song is that?
Kansas City. Hey. That's The
going.
Beatles did a cover of it.
Yeah.
It's a bop.
All right, the pick is in.
Oh,
Who comes up to announce this pick? Is it Calvin? Is it Barry?
Ooh.
If it's Calvin, that's legendary.
Oh, Calvin helped introduce the boys today.
Who do we got?
Amon-Ra
St. Brown.
Big dog.
Let's
Sunday
go.
on. 2022
A little
Pro
future,
Bowl
a
selection.
little foreshadowing.
All right, with the 68th pick
What the?
in the NFL draft, the Detroit
Bro.
Lions select Hendon
Oh man.
You stay
There
on
we
my
go.
mind. Think about you all the time. All right. Before whatever just
All right,
happened.
we're back. We're back.
Burn heads to the super chat. Shout out, Burn, $5. Says it all makes sense now. Brad was throwing the draft to confuse the other team's boards so we could get Hooker late, as expected of Brad Holmes.
That is crazy. That is. I'm sorry. We lost audio there for a second, but we're back. JB fixing things on the fly like a real man of action. JB got a little too excited in there. They just got Hendon Hooker. That was his pick. He was feeling it. Savage. Whatever I want, I get. Whatever I want, I have to get. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about Hendon Hooker?
Man,
This is amazing. I called this out on Heavyweights earlier today. Even shout out Lucas over here when he was putting up socials as well too. It's a good day. It's a good day to be the Lions. This might be the next Lions jersey I get. I don't even know.
You see that? 2022, 9 games with 2+ passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
And I've
That's
given you
impressive.
this stat
6'5" or something?
Oh
dude?
yeah, and he's got an arm.
He's got a cannon.
He's accurate. My favorite stat about Hendon Hooker. He played his last 2 years at Tennessee. And I know it's college, and I know some people say that Tennessee runs a little bit of a gimmicky offense. That doesn't matter. In his last 2 seasons at Tennessee, 58 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. That is correct, folks. Look it up. That is a touchdown to interception ratio of slightly above 11.5 to 1.
Boys.
That's extremely. He would have been the lock for the Heisman this year.
Absolutely.
If he
would have.
didn't get hurt, he was the absolute lock for the Heisman this year. He beat Alabama.
He did.
The man slayed the dragon.
Against
That is, you want to talk about big games. You want to talk about stepping up in big games. That man, Alabama came into his house and they won. Tennessee. When was Tennessee good? Fucking Peyton Manning.
Yep.
That's the last time Tennessee has been good.
Yep.
And he beat Alabama this year. That was my favorite video ever. Everybody stormed the field. They carried the goalposts out of the stadium. And it's because Hendon Hooker was balling.
And I know this isn't the Alabama defense of yesteryear, but do you guys like Brian Branch? He was on that team. He was in that secondary. Do you guys
That's
like
beef.
Will Anderson? He played in that game. The
Yes,
best
he
player
was.
in this entire draft. So
Yeah.
one of probably the single most impressive performance by any player this last
Yeah.
college football season.
Branching off of Spinney's point, you made a phenomenal point right there. But the big time games, right?
Yeah.
Because there's knocks on all these quarterbacks in this draft. C.J. Stroud was big time games. Hendon Hooker stepped up against Alabama, big time game. Check for him, right?
Yeah.
Accuracy was one of Will Levis and obviously our guy Richardson.
Yes.
One of the most accurate guys. How many interceptions? What was the interception stat you just gave?
5 interceptions in the last 2 seasons.
Last 2
combined.
seasons. Okay, so accuracy, that's a check, right? Size, was he like 6'5"?
He's got the best size of any
6'4"?
quarterback in this draft,
Okay.
besides maybe Anthony Richardson.
Okay, little bit of mobility, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and then you said he beat Alabama, right?
He did beat
So
Alabama.
there's that Stetson Benson trait of a winner.
Yes.
The Stetson Bennett trade.
Did Brad just have fucking 5-star pick in the 3rd round? I'm just saying.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm just saying. Obviously, the only question for a lot of people is the age and the system of the Tennessee Ram. But
Audio's gone again.
you gotta love this. You gotta love this
I got
pick.
levels.
Is it me? Am I pressing a chord I'm not supposed to be pressing or something?
I don't know.
I
I got levels.
Oh, there's sound? There's sound. Okay. No, people are saying no sound. I have audio.
Here, I'll
Maybe
just do
somebody
this.
was delayed or something.
No,
Audio's
there's
there.
sound. There's sound. They're trolling
Okay.
you. Don't fall for it.
All right. This is such a good pick. This is such a good pick for the Detroit Lions. I just made a tweet earlier in this draft.
Yeah.
And I said, it looks like the way they're drafting, the Detroit Lions are staying with Jared Goff. Well, it
Didn't you
doesn't look
also
like that anymore. And this is insane. This is insane.
Didn't you also say that you hope that you were wrong at the end of
I
it?
did. I said I hope I get freezing cold taked.
Freezing cold take. Don't you just love it when you are happy to be wrong and you actually end up being wrong?
Yes.
I didn't foresee this. Nobody foresaw this.
Nobody foresaw that.
But he fell to the 3rd round.
3rd round, Lions got him.
And I've been somebody who I've advocated for maybe taking a chance on Hendon Hooker in the 2nd round, but he didn't have to do that. He fell to the 3rd.
And he's cheap.
Lions fans are gonna hate me. Lions fans. Jared Goff gets to have some bad games.
Goff is
They're gonna hate me.
Doughboy Steve says Goff is still going to get extended. So
Doughboy loves him some Jared
I don't know
Goff.
about that.
He loves him some Jared Goff and noodle soup. But unfortunately,
How much
clock's
is Hooker's
ticking.
contract now? What?
Yeah.
$1 million a year?
Yeah.
Let's get our boy Neil on the line. What's
I
up?
texted him. He didn't. He's probably blacked out.
He's probably blacking out drunk.
Oh wait, yeah.
Start
JB,
ECF.
can you slack me a A link?
Of the mix?
I don't know how to do that. So you got to come try it.
Oh, for sure.
Add input.
How many bourbons deep do you think our boy Neil Rule is in?
I can.
Now?
Here, I'll do this, Vinny. Yeah.
I won't be able to hear him though. That's the only thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so.
Is that turned up all the way?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
What is going on? Like that? Does that make up for the other picks that you weren't happy with?
I don't know if it. Time will obviously tell. I'm not gonna try to paint these picks in a broad brush when they haven't even played an NFL game. I think this draft, with Hendon Hooker, with a couple, I would say, reaches in the first round, Sam Laporta being questionable, I think it's a little confusing, but Hendon Hooker, imagine if he actually does pan out to be the quarterback of the future. That's why they take him.
That's why they take him. You don't take somebody expecting to be a backup.
And you know this point better than anybody because you and Easy hammer it home. We all respect the hell out of what Jared Goff did last year.
Yes, he had a great year.
People like to pretend and put blinders on like it's just linear. He's not going to be cheap for much longer. He's got 2 more years, and if he has another good year, he's probably going to ask for an extension which is worth at least $45 million a year.
Yes,
and
at
he
the
will
very
have
least.
every right to, given what Daniel Jones is making, $40 million a year. Do the Lions want to pay that? Obviously, they're a little bit skeptical right now, or else they wouldn't have drafted Hendon Hooker. And honestly, I'm not saying that it was my favorite pick in the world, but I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it. Might as well.
And nobody should be surprised either. Like, they specifically told you. I mean, I guess a little surprised, yeah, but they specifically told everybody that they wanted to develop a quarterback. They just say we want to get. They did say they want to get some extra bodies in the room, but they used the specific term "develop." Now I get there's smoke screens out there, but what's been the coolest thing about this regime at times is the transparency. Like, there's nothing stopping them from saying what they want to say and how they truly feel. And I think that's part of the villain campaign. It's like, I mean, this guy, and I've said this take already, but like a true villain went on national TV with it and announced his evil plan. You know, it was like he did. So we want to develop a quarterback and we get some more bodies in this room. And what did they do? He got arguably, I don't know, where are you ranking this guy? If he was healthy coming out of this draft, where are you ranking him along this class?
Third. No doubt third.
I don't disagree. I like there's
I would put him second if he was healthy.
Wow.
Healthy.
If he was healthy and coming out, I would have put him second.
The thing is, the system in Tennessee does put like a lot of things in question. By the way, we do have the link out to Neil Rule.
Yeah, I just emailed it to Neil.
Let's go.
I can't wait.
But I like Stroud. And in the age, obviously, is a conversation to be had. Stroud only 21, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, and we talk about Stroud. One of his knocks was didn't play well in big games, didn't always play his best against Michigan, although I think his performance at the Big House was underrated. But that game against Georgia, that was big time. They should have won that game. He led the game-winning drive. Their kicker shanked it. He threw 4 touchdown passes to zero interceptions. So that's I think higher of Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud than some people. That's why I would still have him third.
I'd have him under Bryce Young.
That's fair, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have him under Bryce Young.
I have him as third, even with the ACL injury.
Ooh. Yeah,
I mean,
you hate Anthony Richardson.
Honestly, like we feel that way sometimes. It's like you say those things, people try to like attack you, but it's like I'm just breaking down what this guy does.
And honestly, bro, like the more I keep talking, the more I get more excited about that Hendon Hooker pick. I'm talking about him being the 3rd best quarterback in this draft, and the Lions get him in the 3rd round, and I'm not like, I don't even know if I'm excited enough.
No, I'm excited. I just found myself like smiling like a big dumbass while you were talking.
Dumbass.
JB, where'd you have him ranked? Amongst like all the entire quarterback class, like where
first in the NFL, right?
So,
He wasn't first in the NFL, but I probably say 4th at least, 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's a steal for the Lions right now in the 3rd round too.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about this.
Man, oh man! In the words of a great booner once said, "Brother."
So far, the Detroit Lions have drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, and Hendon Hooker. What would you grade that draft right now?
B minus.
B minus?
I would say B minus at this point. There's still
That's
some
fair.
question marks. There were some reaches. I mean, I don't think is anybody in this room over the moon about the Sam Laporta pick as of right now.
No.
And, okay, we will get the rest of your grades, but we do have Neil on the phone.
Neil Rule.
He's ready to go. JB is Buzz B's pressed and everything. We can hear him. All right, throw him on. I got to talk to him. My guy. Neil, appreciate you for joining us, man. So not only did we draft another Iowa Hawkeye, we drafted a quarterback in Hendon Hooker.
You Buzz B.
How are you feeling right now?
All right, so here's the deal.
Can you hear him?
1 sec.
All right, let me know.
Neil, hold on 1 sec. Neil, we got to fix your audio.
All right, copy.
You want the S or the?
Here's the thing.
No, it's not.
I know my guy Neil, classy
Oh, wait,
guy,
hold on.
drinks a lot of bourbon.
Yeah.
I've been blessed enough to have the experience of drinking bourbon with both Neil and Terry. I know Neil may be enjoying this draft, a couple bourbons himself. I know he didn't want the quarterback pick. What's the bourbon count after both an Iowa and tight end? It was Sam Laporta. How many bourbons came with him, and then how many bourbons now with Hendon Hooker?
Oh, look, man. I was out running around, doing the father stuff today. So here's the deal, man. Like with the Iowa tight end and everything like that. We were laughing about it and everything like that. I wasn't a fan. I don't know a lot of people that were a fan of it. I know you guys are rejoicing and everything like that about the Hendon Hooker pick. And look, there are two schools of thought here. There are two things that apply with this for me with Hendon Hooker. It's good, obviously, that the Lions wanted to go get a veteran that Jared Goff could learn from. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Hendon Hooker being 25 and everything like that. But no, for real, guys, here's the deal with it. There's two separate things to this for me. Number one, I believe with Hendon Hooker, and look, we can very much simplify this. I'll give everybody what they want first. And Spenmo, we talked about this on Big D Energy today. All right, everybody. Here it is, and this is namely to Easy and the quarterback people and Ermanni and all those guys. All right, so they took the quarterback. So in 2 years, you're telling me, you are telling me that you're comfortable with handing the keys to the rookie contracts of Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, all this core of rookie contract talent they have. In 2 years, you're going to hand the keys over to Hendon Hooker and say, okay, go get us a Super Bowl. And we're all comfortable with that, right? We're fine with that. Like, okay, let's go get it. I'm good with that. I'm not good with that because I'm not in the game of gambling everything that's been built on Hendon Hooker. Sorry, guys, I'm not with the ACL and all that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not. You guys may disagree with it, and that's fine. But here's the yin to the yang.
Just me.
If they wanted to take a swing. And you could see this formulating throughout the night where Brad Holmes was making these deals and moving down and accumulating a stockpile of picks. If it were just that pick and that was all they had, I'd be a little more upset about it. But he accounted for it. There was a clear plan for it. He made the moves around for it. So for me, if they want to take a swing, a home run swing at it, fine. I just don't think it's going to work out. And like I said, it's real now, guys. So you're telling me in 2 years, when Jared Goff's contract's over, you're flipping the keys to everything, to the franchise, to the affordable years, your window. You're going to give it to Hendon Hooker, and we're comfortable with that. Let me know, guys. You tell me.
Well, that's the beauty of the pick being a third-round pick is that, one, you get them on a discount. 3,
what about 2?
This is my audio on the thing. I got delayed. I apologize. But that's the beauty of the third-round pick is, one, you get them at a discount, right? There's not too much of a rush. 2, you have those 2 years, or maybe even 1 year, depending on how the situation goes. You have those 2 years of buffer to know if you are going to hand those keys over, right? Because we're not for certainly giving the keys over to them. And 3, I mean, the Eagles just did it with Jalen Hurts. And they just went back to the Super Bowl. But they're going to know within 2 years' time if they want to hand over that key or like, what the future really is. And at a third-round pick, one or 66? What was the final pick? That's minimal investment.
And look, opinion. Like Easy, I'm on board with that too. And he accounted for it, right? Like he replaced the capital, but with all the trades that he did, moving back. He replaced the Capitol. So he built it. Like, he built in the ability to take a swing, right? And he might have got him on sale and things like that. It's just, I want people to, like, because I see everybody, like, rejoicing and things like that, which again, I don't understand, because you just had a guy have a Pro Bowl season, like a legit Pro Bowl season for the third, for all the years he's played in the NFL, about half the time he's been a Pro Bowler. Like, that's what it is. And he's playing on a discount, money-wise, especially when you look around the league. So you know my talking points, Easy. You know where I am with it. I'm not going to pound the table. I'm not going to pound the table and say this is stupid or anything like that, because he accounted for it. He's taking a calculated swing. That's fine. I just don't see a world where Hendon Hooker is going to be the starter 2 years from now when you should be knocking on the door of Super Bowl contention. I just don't see it.
Yeah, so you have been a self-proclaimed Brad Holmes simp, and I'm with you on that. He's made fantastic decisions in his draft so far. This year, he's gotten hurt. You said you didn't want a back in the first round. Not quarterback, not running back, not cornerback. He got that running back. And then he got an Iowa player. Okay, linebacker, good. I like it. I'm not too mad about it. Then he got another Iowa player and a tight end at that, and then Hendon Hooker. How is your simp level for Brad Holmes right now, Neil?
You know what, though? You know what's funny about that, Spenmo? And I think I talked about this on the show today. The Brian Branch thing, right? He totally redeemed himself right there with me, because that I felt like that was a good catch. But I think you can see what he's doing, and it goes back to what I was talking about on Big D Energy today from 11 to 1 on Woodward Sports. I think it goes back to that, right? The versatility that he brings to the table. I think that's what we're looking at with Brad Holmes and what they're doing, and whatever role Dan Campbell plays in it too, where I think they want a bunch of guys that can do a bunch of things. So maybe there's not a matchup that they can't deal with. You know what I'm saying? I see them working right now. So I'm off it last night from where I was. Like, we talked through it. We did the therapy session today on Woodward Sports, and I got calmed down by some of the people and everything like that. And look, the Iowa football thing, I mean, I guess we traded TJ Hawkinson for TJ Hawkinson, right? Like, that's essentially what they did. But I can roll with it, because again, as you talked about, Spenmo, being a simp for Brad Holmes, I am. And it goes back, obviously, to look at where we've come from. You know what I'm saying? And look at the people that we've dealt with before in the past. So when you look at it like that, yeah, you know what? You got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. As much as I don't like it, especially the Iowa connection, as much as I don't like it, I really, really like the Brian Branch pick. I mean, really, really liked it. There were some situations there in the third round, like I really would have liked Osiris Torrance. Spenmo, I know you and I were kind of in lockstep about that. Again, I'm not a believer in Hendon Hooker. I believe the quarterback situation in Detroit's fine. People talk about Goff like he's 35 years old. He's 28, man. Him and Hooker are almost the same age. So, it's for me, I know everybody loves it and they're on board with it. It's a controlled swing. So, again, I'm cool with it. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. I just doubt it.
All right, Neil, before we let you go, I do want to talk to you and Sam Flannel about one thing. So now we have the Philadelphia Bulldogs. We have the Detroit Hawkeyes. And we also have Neil's favorite combination of all time. Man. I already know. The Dallas Wolverines.
Yes.
So, Flannel, talk to him about your Dallas Wolverines.
I mean, I think that Mozzie Smith, he was a pick for the Dallas Cowboys. That I think it's a good one. You pair him, you put him on the defensive line, and the defense has Micah Parsons, and they just picked up Stephon Gilmore. They have Trayvon Diggs. I think it's a good pick for them. Luke Schoonmaker, I mean, they lost Dalton Schultz. I think it's a very, very good. Hey, you know what? That's fine. Michigan guys go to the NFL.
Led by Dakota Rain Prescott.
Dakota Prescott. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be a very, very good regular season team. I could foresee Dak Prescott having a resurgent regular season. In the playoffs, they're not going to do anything, but why not? the Dallas Cowboys are very smart. Those are a couple of good picks, if you ask me, objectively.
It's a perfect fit because they're never going to win in the playoffs. The second they play somebody better than them, they're out. And if you're going to do something, do it well. And with Dakota Rain, Prescott at the helm, now with Mozzie Smith and all those Michigan Wolverines, we know, hey, you're going to be in the playoffs every year. It's going to be built in. You're going to be in there, but you ain't going to be in there for long because everybody fits together perfectly. So, Sam Flannel, there you go. Once your Wolverines get bounced from the college football playoff, you can watch the Wolverines and the pros get bounced from the NFL playoff. So it's a match made in heaven. It fits perfectly.
We appreciate you for joining us, for leaving your bourbon. I know you're going through a lot with Hawkeyes, quarterbacks, and running backs all coming to the Detroit Lions. But we appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend. I can't wait for Monday. It's going to be a great show.
I can't wait either. Big D Energy 11-1. And you know what? It's not even quite the Detroit Hawkeyes now. I think we're the Detroit Crimson Hawkeyes. So at least we're half good, right? Is that fair?
The Detroit Hawk Tide. The Detroit Crimson Eyes. I like Crimson Eyes.
There you go. However you want to term it. So I'm claiming the Alabama part of it, and I'm disassociating the Hawkeye part of it. So, and that's fair. That's fair, and that's a good move by me. No, guys, you guys are killing it, man. All the viewers out there, again, everybody that's watching out there on Woodward Sports, the draft coverage, the thousands and thousands of people that have been watching. Shout out to you guys. We appreciate the support and everything like that. And, we're getting it in. We're doing it as good or if not better than anybody else is doing it. We appreciate you guys recognizing that. So thank you. Spenmo, Easy, Flannel, all you guys. A big shout out to Adam, too, last night. I'm sure he's asleep somewhere right now. You guys have been grinding this weekend, man. I appreciate you. Love working with you guys, and keep it popping.
Thank you, Neil. You're the man. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
Love you, Neil.
That's my guy. Neil Rule there. That's on brand, as he would say. On brand Neil Rule response.
Absolutely. If there's one, Neil Rule is always going to be Neil Rule, and I say this with the utmost respect. Neil's a motherfucker.
He is. He is. But he shoots it straight. He shoots it straight.
But you know what? Him being a motherfucker has helped me grow as an analyst, I would say, or a personality, without a shadow of the doubt. I think we bring out the best in each other, as I think we do as well, and as you guys all do. We're all one big family, and it all kind of started on Big D Energy. I know you used to fill in Easy a lot on that show. We all grew from that show. So
honestly, that was like the little pilot show for everyone. Everyone wanted to get their feet wet.
Yeah,
D-Mac even let us drive the pontoon every once in a while.
He did.
Big D is where you get your training wheels. That's where everyone first TDs. Shout out to Big D Energy. Shout out to BD.
Yep.
Shout out.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us today for our second round and early third round coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft. I appreciate you all.
Lions, when you're done too.
What's up?
I was letting the listeners know Hendon Hooker's live with the Detroit Lions.
Hendon Hooker's live with the Detroit Lions. So go listen to what he has to say. We appreciate you all for joining us. They'll be back tomorrow. It's going to be Jeff and Adam. We got more draft coverage.
Let's go.
This is Woodward Sports. Follow us, like us, woodwardsports.com.
Love us.
Make sure you're tuned in because we got a lot to come. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
You stay on my mind.